Getting ready to go for race number 8 of the season. John Hunter Nemechek starting on the outside, a 2-time winner this season, and that's Austin Hill on the inside, and the green flag about to wave to get us going at Darlington. Like Hill and Nemechek were leaning on one another already going through turn 1 as Nemechek grabs the point.
Yeah, that's a nice angle off the corner for John Hunter. He took advantage of the high side, was able to hold off Hill till he got off over to turn 2, and then drove off there with the lead.
Zane Smith in that 21 diving to the bottom.
I love that. Didn't even know there was track down there. Did you, Vince?
Hunting for third, and he couldn't make it stick as Ben Rhodes holds position. Rhodes won the first 2 races of the season. KBM has dominated it since, winning 5 in a row. And Mike, these are the first vehicles on track here at Darlington this weekend. A very green racetrack.
Yeah, you saw a lot of dust and speedy drive flying around too. So these drivers, they'll have to think about this, Vince, and be sure to be so precise in how they report to their team what adjustments they might need. Talked about the competition caution coming up in just 12 laps. How much will these trucks change over those 12 laps so they know how to tell their crew what they need to go faster?
Remember, Sheldon Creed said he was going to go forward starting 15th, wasn't going to waste any time. He's already gained 4 spots. Parker Kligerman in the 75.
He's going to be in the inside.
Oh.
Wow. See a big slide there off turn 2. That was Chris Wright in the 0-2. He got sideways and bottled that group up.
Boy, nearly collected 3 or 4 of them right there as Kligerman was able to avoid the mess and leads the group now in that blue 75 truck.
I bet she's glad to clear that group, wasn't he, Vince? Let's get out of here. This doesn't look clean to me.
Watch it. That's Cody Robois there on the outside in the 9.
Oh, and there you see. Evasive move to the bottom. Luckily, Kligerman, with the experience and knowledge he has behind the wheel, was able to hang on to her.
John Hunter Nemechek continues to run out front with Austin Hill second, Ben Rhodes third. Hill running that 16 truck, the Mike Stefanik look. A lot of fans will remember that. And Ben Rhodes working on Hill for second, just 5 laps in here at Darlington. Remember, a competition caution coming at 15. Provide an opportunity for a little strategy, Mike. Some maybe take advantage, others stay out.
Well, I talked to a couple of crew chiefs, and they really are interested to see these lap times, Vince. How much do they fall off over these 15 green flag laps and how those trucks are handling? I don't believe we're going to see everybody come to pit road. There is concern about wear, as always, when the track is green, such as it is here in Darlington. But I think we could see some strategy around this competition caution.
And how's the track going to change as the sun goes down and this turns from evening to nighttime?
Well, we're going to get a little rubber down. That's going to help grip as well. And then the cooler temperatures, the truck should stick better. So we're just going to see a constant transition from the beginning to towards the end of the race. How are we able to take advantage of conditions? Oh, look at that, John Hunter.
Losing spots as the 16 goes by. That's Austin Hill. Ben Rhodes got around 2. John Hunter has since gathered it up.
I think Norm Benning might have caught Norm in a bad spot in that blue 6 truck and resulted in the front 3 getting all changed around.
Had a long conversation with John Hunter's crew chief Eric Phillips this week, and Phillips, the winningest crew chief in Camping World Truck Series history, 39 wins, and also happens to be John Hunter's uncle. And there it is, Mike, just as you called it. Norm Benning right down there in front of John Hunter, nearly collected the leader.
That is close here at Darlington. Watch this. Boy, both Austin Hill and Ben Rhodes were ready to pounce on that move, weren't they?
How about, speaking of pounce, you saw Carson Hocevar go around the 98.
Battle for the lead. Ben Rhodes to the bottom. He was better than Hill when they were running behind Nemechek. Can he complete the pass, though? Them racing together like that will allow John Hunter to get a big run on him if he catches the right break here.
10 laps in, Austin Hill leads Ben Rhodes, and John Hunter Nemechek now running third, going from first to third after getting hung up by Norm Benning. And then there's a bit of a gap back to the rest. Hill had only led one lap this season before this stint out front here at Darlington, and that's last year's regular season champ. Gotten off to a bit of a slow start, although he has strung together 5 straight top 10s, but wants to contend for that win today, as you see a couple of veterans who have plenty of wins through the year. Johnny Sauter in 13 and the 88 of Matt Crafton, teammates at ThorSport.
I like the way this 88 is handling Vince. I've watched him come up through the field and got a good shot of him. He's better than Sauter and is sticking really well low on the racetrack.
Johnny Sauter with 24 career wins, the most among the full-time active drivers in the series. Austin Hill radio from the 16 camp.
I can't see off the two, so it's hard to gauge where they're at. I know that. That's what happens at Nemechek. That's why I was telling you a little bit ahead of time.
Referencing the sun.
Yeah, that's a tough place to be, and that's why the lead was changed hands over there. John Hunter couldn't pick out which way Norm Benning was going to go. There you see Norm down on the bottom of the track as we ride along with Sheldon Creed right out next to that outside wall. Let's listen to him as he barrels down into turn 1. See how much throttle he's able to keep on.
And see what that sun looks like too as he comes around the corner and takes on the glare.
Look at that. You just have to guess where that wall is, Vince. You can't see there. Running 170 miles an hour, can't see for a couple seconds. That'll get your attention. Listen to him. Just wanting to get on that gas, but can't quite get it powered down. Uh-oh.
The 04 of Corey Roper, the 43-year-old from Baytown, Texas, driving that Bobby Hamilton scheme from back in 2005.
That has every look of a right front tire that has gone down, Vince, and obviously with as close as they run to the wall, as you see the 21 of Smith there right out next to it, you could have scrubbed the wall, but this also will get the team's attention. Did he wear that tire out? What caused that failure? That'll put the gears in motion on those pit boxes, seeing what happened there.
Well, we're right about that point where we're expecting the competition caution as well. See Sheldon Creed and Carson Hocevar. Creed in the 2, Hocevar in the 42, running 10th and 11th. Hocevar just slipped out of the top 10 in the point standings last week at Kansas, dropped down to 11th. Remember, the top 10 make the playoff, so this is another important race, as they all are, for Carson Hocevar.
Doing a nice job too. He's definitely faster than the 2 right now, but man, just getting a pass done here at Darlington.
Turn out. This will be the competition caution.
And the yellow is out. The competition caution will slow them down, and a little bit of a decision now for some of these crew chiefs, so whether or not they want to come or stay out.
I think that if you're leading, I'm just listening to the crew chiefs. They were undecided about what they're going to do. Vince, are they darn sure wasn't going to tell me?
Remember, 6 sets of tires for the race here tonight, and they got an extra set because they are the first competition on track, so expect some heavy tire wear, particularly during this first stage until rubber gets down. So you see Scott Zippadelli, the crew chief, on the 16. Here's the 04 of Roper. We saw the damage.
They just
started back in turn 3 and 4.
Just definitely a right front went down. Why that occurred, if he had made contact with the wall before that, we don't know.
And we'll take you on board the 4 of John Hunter Nemechek. See if you can get a look up ahead. There's Roper.
That's when you just hope, Vince, that truck stays pinned up high, and nice reaction there from the spotter, letting John Hunter know what was going on, and John Hunter keeping his truck under control.
Yeah, John Hunter's probably saying, hey, wait a minute, guys, we just run 15 laps. Everybody calm down. I've nearly been in it twice already tonight. So competition caution out here at Darlington. And we've got a long line of takers.
Yes, we do.
We'll begin downstairs on pit road with Regan Smith.
Well, Johnny Sauter slid back one position from starting in 6th right now. That race truck is too tight in the center. It's sliding through the right front. Can't quite get it to grip like he wants to. His teammate Matt Crafton, he loves his truck right now. He said, just give me a good stop and track position as we see him have trouble on the right rear. Jamie?
Austin Hill in the 16, good opening laps there for him. A little bit snug, too tight on a scale of 1 to 10, so not terrible. John Hunter Nemechek as well. You saw him give up 2 positions there. They were going to make some adjustments. Good stop for the 16.
First round of pit stops at Darlington. First opportunity to maybe twist on that truck a little bit, get the handling a little better. How about Greg Biffle taking some ceremonial laps in the old Ford?
Raceway, make your plans to be here when the NASCAR Cup Series returns on September 5th. When you put down starting from 100, it's the kickoff for the Cup Series playoffs here at the Ranger Park. Go for the second. Then you beat today, Darlington Raceway. The games are on hard racing for the first 14 rounds to run.
Enfinger and Todd, I think.
It's a throwback weekend for NASCAR on Fox, and the action at Darlington. Boy, that's some style right there. Let me tell you. You had Regan busting it out. Jamie with the bell bottoms. Go girl. And the white belt. Very nice. Very nice. Well done.
We had a little bit of strategy around this caution flag, Vince. We talked about it at the beginning. What would these teams do? There was 4 trucks that elected to do something different than the rest.
Well, a couple teammates, Ryan Truex and Bailey Curry, stayed out.
And then the 2 behind them, Todd Gilliland and Grant Enfinger, both took 2 tires. That's a beautiful throwback, isn't it?
Well, Bailey had a nice run last week at Kansas. Didn't really get the result that I think indicated how good a race he did have last week, but that is a good-looking truck.
Yeah, Mike Stefanik was behind the wheel. Now you've got Bailey Curry. What a job Curry did at Kansas, huh?
Yep.
Right up there hunting for that win late. Didn't even know he was going to have a ride last week, Vince, and was able to contend in the top 5.
So a couple of Nice Motorsports trucks up front to get us going on this restart, and Todd Gilliland and Grant Enfinger will be there in row 2. Enfinger took just 2 tires.
Yeah, so did Gilliland in that 38. This will be interesting. That's a big break, and that's Charles Powell III there that Gilliland's throwing back to. But and that's a beautiful late model stock car. Won the track championship at Myrtle Beach. Charles Powell, anytime he lined up in those late model stocks back in the day, he was a handful to beat. And the black tires is on both vehicles.
Yeah, I was going to say Todd's dad, David, racing tonight as well in the 17 truck. So we'll keep an eye on a little father-son interaction if they get close to one another tonight. It's the third start of the season for David Gilliland. Ran Daytona and Las Vegas, and I know you're partial to this one, Michael. What year was it that you ran the country time?
That was 1988, Vince. One of the first times I came here to Darlington, and wow, just such a beautiful car and such great memories, and it's cool seeing Danny out there in it.
Yeah, and how about that driver's suit? Are you able to still get in that suit?
Yeah, I can, Vince. If you've noticed me being a little bit short-winded, it's tight.
Because you're trying to zip it up?
Trying to zip it up, and I think I'm all right. I got a little bit of the 70s look, too. Richard Petty a lot of times wore a cool shirt underneath his uniform. But here we are, 1988. Let's go.
Let's see you squat down in that thing.
Oh, I can't bend over, Vince. I'm going to be stationary the rest of this race. But what a beautiful truck, and it's fun throwing back, isn't it?
Oh, it is indeed. And Danny Bone in that 30. Yeah, love it. It's such a fun weekend. Well, we're getting ready for this restart after the competition caution. That's Ryan Truex in the 40 and Bailey Curry in the 44. Teammates at Nice Motorsports that will lead us back to green. 45 laps in stage one. Just about halfway there.
Wow, this is a mess, Vince. Those older tires slipping and sliding.
Look at Austin Hill hunting the bottom.
Okay, we said, I didn't think we would say 4 wide, but we just had 4 wide at Darlington. Can they make it?
Wow, some strong contact between the 98 of Infinger and the 2 of Sheldon Creed. 3 wide now up front. Ben Rhodes getting around Truex. Todd Gilliland and John Hunter Nemechek coming along.
Nice run by Gilliland to be able to hang on up front.
It's a big difference between fresh tires and none. And look at the 98 and the 2. We told you Infinger and Creed got together, and watch it here.
Look at that mess.
Right along with Creed.
Look at that.
Maybe got a little bit from both sides as Chandler Smith went around the outside.
Sheldon was just saying, I need some space, guys.
Top clear, you can roll. Proper clear all around, clear.
Creed, last year's series champion, 5-time winner. Still seeking that first win this season. In fact, it's been a little bit of a struggle lately with 3 straight outside the top 10. But this was his place last year, had it in the bag until a late caution came out.
You can hear him really struggling with the gas to get it down wide open. Regan, it doesn't sound like the truck's handling great. What's he saying down there?
Well, the 2 truck of Sheldon Creed right now, Michael, basically just had that contact that we saw at the restart. He was 3 wide. Take a listen to what they just said.
Be ready, guys. A little tire rub on that left rear on exit. Still smoking. Try to run the top as much as possible here, Sheldon. You run down low, we're going to have more load. It's going to rub more. Still inside.
He might be running the top to try and help save that tire. I'd run the top also in case it does blow out. It won't hurt as hard if you hit.
Thanks for that insight, Regan. But that's driver insight, right? I mean, that's driver knowledge.
That's, the driver understands that, too. When you talk a tire rub, you're just going to naturally migrate up the hill a little bit and try to find you a little fresher asphalt and maybe not hit as hard if something goes wrong.
How about Nemechek, Jamie?
Yeah, we've got a caution on the track. I'll update that story after.
Okay, Cody Robaugh. Heavy contact in that 9 truck, and he's not the only one involved.
Yeah, the 0-2 of Chris Wright, I believe.
And there's Wright.
He's throwing back to Ron Hornaday's heydays here in the truck series. WrightCars.com, family-owned business on that truck, and man, ran out of room, huh?
They were running back just outside the top 30. And there you see the combined damage of the 2 involved as they ran next to one another momentarily. And They're limping to pit road.
Steve Wright got that 12th place finish at Daytona, but unfortunately it's going to end early here in Darlington.
John Hunter Nemechek. It's been an eventful night for Nemechek, almost in a couple of different incidents, but able to dodge the bullet both times and run second. Let's finish up that report we were going to get from Jamie in regards to Nemechek.
Yeah, well, we talk about how so many of these drivers have never been here before or only once before. Well, John Hunter Nemechek was here in a Cup car last year and finished 9th. He has a lot of laps around this place, and he said last year with the setup in the Cup cars, less horsepower, that was really relatable for these trucks, and he thought that would play into his hand tonight. So far, pretty good. He lost those couple of positions early, but saying the track is pretty good. He's a little tight in 3 and 4, but overall entry is good, and they're happy with the 4.
Yeah, John Hunter, the points leader in the playoff standings, and after Kansas, Marcus Lemonis of Camping World said at the beginning of the year, the driver and team leading the point standings after Kansas gets a $50,000 bonus. So John Hunter and that Ford team at Kyle Busch Motorsports picked that up last week.
Yeah, that's just, it's everything we expected from this team to start the 2021 season. What a beautiful evening, Vince.
Love it. The first race of the Triple Truck Challenge presented by Wampley. Didn't go so well for Chris Wright.
Vacation ownership provider of NASCAR invites you to believe in the power of vacation. With Blue Green, you can create a lifetime of memories and a collection of unique, locally inspired resorts and enjoy exclusive VIP NASCAR experiences. Start your vacation journey today. BlueGreenVacations.com.
The lane was open, as Rick pointed out. Most all of the lead line trucks are ready to stay on the track. And again, as Steve Post pointed out a little earlier, 5 sets of brand new junior tires down there. I guess Steve Post, it's a little bit too soon to be using set number 2 out there.
Yeah, I think so. I think that will make everyone a little concerned down here. The other thing I would say is they want to see what they can run. This course of the race is going to be, well, it's only 25 laps. This course is kind of messing that up. But they wanted to see what the truck would go over a longer run. So nobody's going to come in and break down a second set, which would actually be the 3rd set overall with the ones who started and the ones they just put on. So I'm going to say that.
They're bouncing off each other, they're bouncing off the wall. Somehow they're able to keep the trucks in a straight line. It's pretty intense, and then they got to settle down. But we even see double and 3 operation here in turns 3 and 4 as well. So they're not hesitating on third down and fourth down.
What a beautiful evening it is here in the Southeast. Welcome back to the Lift Kits for Less.com 200 from Darlington, South Carolina, and it is absolutely beautiful as you see the sun setting and temperatures in the mid-60s. And trucks on track. It has been a good one so far here in this first stage. NASCAR announced today that the Race Back to the Track digital sweepstakes is open to fans who are vaccinated or pledged to make a vaccine appointment. Through May 31st, fans can visit NASCAR.com/vax and enter to win tickets to the 2022 Daytona 500 on February 20th at Daytona Speedway. Register for a vaccine appointment. Please visit vaccines.gov or text your zip code to 438-829. That's Get Vax.
Got my second shot a couple weeks ago, Vince. Didn't feel bad at all. Just pretty happy to get that vaccine in.
How about the 21 of Zane Smith? We mentioned a little bit earlier that throw back to Glenn Wood back in the 50s.
It's funny, Vince, that we're seeing this because I went down to the north turn at Daytona a couple weeks ago and just stood there and relished in what used to be. And Glenn Wood hopping down the beach in that number 21. He's legendary. The whole Wood brothers family just is such an important part of this sport, and really fun to see them getting the celebration tonight of that beautiful 21.
Man, look at that. Look at that car. Man.
I
that
know.
Is awesome.
Also got the wood chopper in honor of Glenn, a nice cheeseburger there at the North Turn restaurant.
Zane Smith will restart in the second row, and I think Zane's a guy we're going to have to watch tonight to maybe get that third career win.
And I said a bit ago that Todd Gilliland had gotten 2. That was incorrect. He got 4 tires. The only truck that took 2 was Enfinger, and he fell steadily back.
Yeah, those drivers that had stayed out on that first round of pit stops, Ryan Truex and Bailey Curry, they have dropped as well.
Truex did a nice job, though. He stayed in the top 10, and the same, the same for Enfinger. He's up in the top 10, so they learned something. Looks like about 2 seconds of fall off during that first run, Vince. We'll be interested to watch this and see if it gets better, if the track picks up more speed as the sun sets.
They've added a lap, gives us an opportunity to check in with a little Ben Rhodes team radio.
I say we just keep doing what we're doing, man. They're going to keep charging that entry. The only thing they can do is get to your door, but we drive away by 3-4 car lengths, and they're beating out their tires trying to do that.
We're in a good spot. Truck's set up real well right now for long runs. Just got to get people to quit wrecking.
It's Ben Rhodes, last year's winner here at Darlington. Just one finish outside the top 10 this season for Rhodes. Here's one I like too, a little Tim Richmond machine.
How good is that? I mean, it looks just like Tim's car. Back in 1986, Tim won here in Darlington.
Even got the same numbers, just flipped them around there, 25 and 52 for Stuart Friesen.
And Stuart said before the race that he was old enough to watch Tim Richmond race back in the day, and I'm telling you, their driving styles are so similar. I think that's so cool that Stuart gave the nod to Tim, because they race a whole lot alike, and that's wide open every lap from beginning to the end.
I like how Stuart described Tim as a driver with character. He was a character.
Flamboyant.
For Sunday's Cup race, you can enter Clint's Fox Bet Super 6 Stage 2 contest. It's your chance to win 10 grand of Clint Boyer's money. Or actually, Michael had given it to Clint years ago, and now Clint's just passing it along. Just download the app and pick 6 race outcomes related to Stage 2 Sunday for your shot to win. It's free to play, so don't miss out. Play while there's still time left.
You know what? Something's fun, Vince. See if these racers like Clint Boyer and Jeff Gordon can squeeze into their driver suits from the 80s or 90s.
Yeah, and we saw you in that country time suit. We'll go a few years later and try you out in another one a little bit later.
Yeah, that was a stretch, literally.
Well, the sun's going to be a little bit better for these drivers as it sets behind the grandstand. It has really been challenging as they came off turn 2, so that's going to be a little bit better, a friendlier view for the drivers. And as we go back green here in Stage 1, we'll listen to the 21 team radio.
Outside corner, clear, all clear, whatever you need, all clear by 1 to both lanes, all clear by 1, all clear. By 1 to the top, still half back to the top, all clear by half. By
Friesen has gone around just as we talked about the paint scheme there, honoring Tim Richmond. Friesen brings out the caution. It is so tight back in the pack on those restarts.
Vince, I can't hardly stand to watch. They're just laying all over each other. You can see no damage to the left side of the 52 truck. It'd be interesting to see how they're running out of room. They're squeezing each other out. We see these aggressive restarts in the truck series every week, and at Darlington, man, have to see how he got squeezed. He's way down on the bottom of the racetrack. He did the squeezing.
Yep. That's the 42 of Hocevar.
Oh, what a great job by Kligerman.
Wow.
That's what he had all he could handle there, Vince. That thing cut to the left. He stands on the brakes. He slides right into Friesen. Kligerman with a nice move, knew to just keep it turning left and try to keep squeezing on the brakes. Made it work.
So Friesen not really any worse for the wear in regards to significant damage on that 52. That's the good news for him.
We're going to need some tires, Vince. Yep. That was a long slide, but you said earlier NASCAR had given these teams an extra set, and we saw some teams stay out and remain in the top 10, a couple of guys. So maybe that means they get the tires and it's not too big of a penalty.
And I think for the most part, every team wants to keep a couple of sets for that final stage.
No doubt.
We're not even through stage 1 yet. We got a lot of racing remaining.
Sheldon Creed was running just outside the top 10 until our competition caution, Vince, but they've picked up the pace. See, just ahead of Creed is teammate Zane Smith, so a couple of GMS trucks that are running well.
Earlier we saw a caution brought out by the 04 of Corey Roper in contact with Chris Wright in the 02. Roper has been checked and released from the infield care center. Of course, the regular season leads us to the playoffs, and this is the way we get there. Of course, we're here at Darlington tonight, and then next we're going to Texas to race the lefts and the rights at COTA before wrapping up on Memorial Day weekend at Charlotte, and then back to Texas for the Oval at Texas Motor Speedway, then visiting Nashville in mid-June, then Pocono, going to go east over to Knoxville for the dirt, Knoxville, Iowa, and we're back to the road course at Watkins Glen for the regular season finale.
You think these guys are going to be able to catch their breath with all those different diverse racetracks that they're going to have to challenge, and knowing that that playoff spot is going to just be teetered upon all the way to Watkins Glen?
And look at that crowd around that 10th and final playoff position with Chandler Smith, Hocevar. Of course, Lassard is out, and Austin Wayne Self there. And if you're Tanner Gray, you're still thinking, maybe I got a chance to point my way in there, but I got to pick it up.
Yeah.
How about this one? The old Daytona 500 winner, Mike, and this driver suit seems to fit you a little better. Was it a couple of sizes bigger?
I'm so glad we went to 2003 Daytona 500 win and I could breathe again, because that Country Time Lemonade uniform was a bit of a challenge. But Bill McAnally is such a big part of the Napa Know-How family, and being able to see that 19 truck on the track, Derek's currently running inside the top 20, being able to see him out there and being competitive, knowing that he almost won this race a year ago when they gave me a call and said, let's do this at Darlington. It was really cool.
Let's get the front on view. Lift your arms so we can really tell that you can actually do that. Can you lift your arms?
I can do that.
Oh, yeah. That's nice.
2 times. That was a lot of fun. And I'm really thankful for Napa, all the good years we had together. And that truck looks exactly like the 15 car we won in.
It is good looking. Before we go back green, let's check in on Ben Roach. Jamie?
Yeah, well, we've been under caution for quite some time now with a couple of green flag runs there. But Ben Rhodes telling his team, with the sun setting, the wind picking up, it has really cooled off and the track has freed up quite a bit. He said for this next stop, we definitely need to tighten it up, and we're starting to hear that from other drivers as well.
You know, it's interesting, Vince. Back in the day when the track cooled off, it got tighter and you could go, you would just go faster. But these front ends on these trucks, NASCAR vehicles these days, they just got them working so precisely. When that front end starts sticking a little bit better when the track cools off, something's got to give. And generally, that means the back end is what's giving.
It's giving. Getting ready to come back green. Ben Rhodes on the bottom, and that's Todd Gilliland up top. Teammates Zane Smith and Sheldon Creed in row 2 as we restart. Trying to sort themselves out, and Sheldon Creed to make a quick move there to avoid the 16 of Austin Hill. And here comes Crafton on the bottom, Hill right in the middle, and up front it's Zane Smith and Todd Gilliland for the top spot. John Hunter Nemechek right there in third, making a move on Smith for second.
Yeah, Smith lost his momentum while trying to move around Gilliland, and John Hunter just pounced on that opportunity.
Boy, if you just get out of that gas a little bit, it makes a huge difference, doesn't it, losing that momentum?
This track is all about momentum. That's what's important. You want to squeeze that gas down early and keep it down. But what I love also is these guys aggressively going to the bottom of the track. Nice move there for Crafton. Oh, he's going to squeeze up beside 99 Ben Rhodes. Can he get that spot?
Those are teammates. Chandler Smith from Kyle Busch Motorsports right behind him in the white 18. Smith, by the way, has slipped into that 10th and final playoff position. We showed you the playoff standings a moment ago, and Smith had been on the outside looking in until last week, and he has taken over the 10th spot. Just 18 years old. Looking for a little bit more from him out of KBM, but it's his first season in the full-time seat, and he's in a solid spot in the playoff standings now if he can just continue to improve upon it. Timothy Peters there, you got a glimpse of him in that blue and yellow 25 truck, starting to move his way inside the top 15. There's Peters. Good look, the former Bobby Hamilton scheme going back to the early 2000s in that 25.
Racing against the Tony Raines scheme. That seems perfectly appropriate. Those trucks did battle before.
Tony spotting in this race tonight. Saw him earlier. It's got to be pretty cool, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Look out there and see your truck.
I asked him, was he going to be able to keep his eye on his truck and not the truck that looked like the one he used to race.
5 laps left here in stage 1.
Man, we've had a lot of action in this stage, haven't we, Vince?
We have indeed. Seems like we've been racing a while. We've had a few yellows, but it has been action-packed, that's for sure. As you see Creed trying to hold off Austin Hill for 4th.
Austin Hill's another one of those drivers that just gets better, it seems, as the race goes on. So as solid as he is in this first stage, keep your eye on 16. A couple of pit stops, adjustments from the team. He could be a real threat.
Finished 3rd here last year. 5 straight top 10s this season. Just knocking on the door. It's not, I don't think it's a matter of if he's going to win. It's just a matter of when he's going to win. There's a problem for the 19 of Kraus. Regan?
Yeah, tough break for a driver that had a good run here last time we were here, Vince. Motor has a major misfire in that truck. They can't seem to figure out what the problem is. They've been underneath the hood talking about changing out the ECU, which controls the engine now on that race truck.
Well, bad news for Kraus, who had, as Regan mentioned, his career best finish here a year ago. Ran runner-up. As you see Austin Hill make that move around Creed for 4th.
That was a real dive bomb down into turn 3. Great move by Hill. He grabs that spot away.
A couple of aggressive drivers. Neither one of these guys are leaning on the conservative, are they?
No, not at all. And you can watch Sheldon as he just works that outside wall.
Up front, Todd Gilliland continues to lead. John Hunter Nemechek chases, less than a half second behind him.
Looked like maybe Gilliland got a little bit higher than he wanted to off turn 4, and John Hunter squeezed up there, but I don't think he's going to have anything to do with him.
Final lap of stage 1. Todd Gilliland got to be very happy to be running up front. He's had some good top 10 showings this season, but hasn't quite challenged for the win like he expects to, and he has got his first stage win of 2021.
And Vince, he could taste the win last week at Kansas. Had a really strong late race there as well. So this team's really getting its legs under it, performing well.
Yep, 3 straight top 6 finishes for Gilliland, hoping that that translates into a win tonight. Picture perfect evening here in the southeast. Darlington, South Carolina. Sun is setting and the lights are on. We're racing. Stage 1 complete. Welcome back. Camping World Truck Series racing here on FS1, presented by Blue Emu. Stage 1 is complete. First 45 laps in the books. Regan Smith for pit stops and Sheldon Creed.
Well, Sheldon Creed reminded by crew chief Jeff Stankiewicz to keep it off the wall. Little slight contact with the right rear. Nothing to be concerned about. That truck is too loose right now. Was too tight the first run. And Matt Crafton on the upper right of your screen, also too loose now as this racetrack goes through some changes. And I feel like if they get a good stop here, they can battle for the win the next stage. Jamie?
Great opening stage there for the 38 of Todd Gilliland. Said the truck is 10 times better over the bumps than it was last year. They're going to make an air pressure adjustment to help them on the long run. Just a little snug. The 4 of John Hunter Nemechek, really good turn. Little bouncy off too. That's what they wanted to focus on. Track bar air pressure and 4 tires for the Ford truck.
Well, the pit crew's really going to work. The 88 of Matt Crafton. Looked like they had a little trouble on the right rear. Lost some spots, you see there. Dropped a couple of positions.
I don't think the jack maybe was up quite high enough. It seemed like the right rear tire changer was struggling. It wouldn't come straight out. So it wasn't the jack. He got it rearranged and was able to get it away. But that just tells you how timing can throw off a whole stop. Just that one little problem getting the tire removed. You want that fender as close to that wheel as you can get for downforce, Vince.
Stage 2 from Darlington coming your way.
Well, field is continuing to cycle through the running order as again we have some mixed strategies on pit road. Right now at the front of the field, leading behind the blue Ford Mustang pace vehicle is Kligerman O'Brien. Right now he is staying on the racetrack getting some laps. There's still pizza to be better. Welcome back to Darlington Raceway under the lights as we work caution for the 4th time in today's race. Stage number 1 is in the books, run by Todd Gilliland. His first stage win of the season is 5th. This for Olympia spotter for one of 2 drivers.
Throwback weekend here at Darlington. Hey, let's throw it back to 2000. Truck Series champion Greg Biffle. Look at that celebration. Look like a kid.
Hoisted a lot of trophies, didn't he, Vince?
Yes, he did. And earlier tonight, some ceremonial laps out front in the old Ford pickup. That's a good-looking machine right there. And glad to have Greg in the booth, and he's got a little throwback gear on too.
Yeah,
and,
I had to dig deep to find this, guys.
well, we're glad that, Michael's been wearing the throwback driver suits in combination with the throwback actual vest. Could you still fit in your driver suit, your old driver suit from 2000, the truck championship?
I could. I have one. I've got a few of those at the house, so I should have brought that. Christina was trying to get me to wear, the championship truck jacket or a shirt or something. So,
well, the leisure suit looks great on you. You ran a couple of truck wins, or Xfinity win here, I guess, at Darlington. A couple of Cup wins, and you ran the truck race a year ago for Kyle Busch. What's your thoughts on what we've seen in Stage 1 so far?
This is an exciting track, and I've seen a lot of action out here. These guys moving around, finding their way. The thing about it is I still cannot believe there's no practice. I know that's old news to you guys, but as a race car driver, that's difficult to do, to get out here and get in these trucks. Haven't been here in a year, so it's exciting to see, and the guys are doing a good job. And you can see the pit stops and adjustments are making a difference on these trucks.
I hope you can hang with us, Greg. We'd love to hear some more of your knowledge.
Let's go downstairs quickly to Jamie.
Guys, Ben Rhodes in the 99 had dropped, and we were listening. Nothing was being said. Well, they just found out the right rear tire had a small puncture and was flat when it came off that truck. Regan?
Well, you see the 52 of Stuart Friesen now restarted on the outside of the front row as our leader. Part of the plan when they spun out, they sent him out there. They said, go as easy as you can. Don't get lapped for the next 12 laps. Save these tires. So a little bad luck turned into good luck for this 52 truck.
What about that? Come from last to the front. That's Tim Richmond-esque, isn't it? As Stuart Friesen's going to pace them to the green flag.
A little bit of strategy there for the 52 camp. Crew Chief Trip Bruce. So there's Friesen in the 52 on the outside. Todd Gilliland on the inside in the 38. Gilliland, our Stage 1 winner. Stage 2 now underway for the Camping World Truck Series at Darlington.
Great run down toward turn 1 for Gilliland. He's able to take control of the race. But look, battling back on the inside, John Hunter, really fast number 4 truck.
Boy, it is so tough to sort yourself out back in the pack as they run 3 and 4 wide at times on these restarts, as John Hunter Nemechek has taken the point. Nemechek back out front. Gilliland runs second, and now Zane Smith makes the move on Friesen for third. Well, Friesen's got a lot of company. Sheldon Creed moving on him also.
Just about 10 laps older tires on 52. If he could stabilize somewhere around the top 5-7 trucks, he'll consider this a success.
Carson Hocevar in the 42 took a look as you see the line throughout deeper into the field. Right behind Hocevar in that 42 is the 51 of Corey Heim. Heim making his Truck Series debut here tonight. What a tough place to make your debut.
Well, and give him a big check mark running inside the top 10 in this competition. Remember earlier, Vince, when we were riding with Creed, he was all on and off the gas, a whole lot of pulling off of it. Listen to this, Biff, as he runs nearly wide open.
It looked like he was wide open down there at 3 and 4 when he took the lead.
Greg, we were talking about Corey Heim in that 51 making his debut in the Truck Series here tonight at Darlington. How would you like to make, is there a place tougher to make your Truck Series debut than Darlington?
No, thank you. That's all I could say. This is a tough racetrack, and to be your first race. I can't imagine what he thought when he got out there going into turn 1 and 3 and 4 the first time.
How about it, Jamie? How's the 51 holding up?
Corey Heim doing a heck of a job here. What a talent this young man is. He's already won 2 of the 4 Arkham and Art Series races this year, running for the championship, and he got the call from Kyle Busch, hey, run at Darlington and run at Talladega. And of course he jumped to it, told me he has been doing simulation with Kyle Busch Motorsports for the past 2 months and really felt like that gave him a head start here, but he had no idea what to think when he got in that truck into turn 1 tonight.
He's just 18 years old. Darlington and Talladega, it doesn't bother him a bit.
This is impressive. He's doing a nice job, Greg. I think he's being conservative with his line. You can see he's running sort of the middle of the track, running really low. That'll help you survive here at Darlington.
It will, and he has to follow these other guys and get used to that. It's intimidating to drive off in the corner and let the truck slide up against that wall. Not touch the wall is the most important thing.
How about these saves? You know, you got to make these when you race at Darlington. The 15 is Tanner Gray, the 18 Chandler Smith.
They get slightly together, and look at Tanner Gray. That's just a great job.
That's car control, truck control right there.
Whoa. And look at Austin Hill. Excuse me?
Watch those hands on the steering wheel here in that 15.
Gets it all the way to the left, or right, excuse me.
You see his other hand. He was going for another scoop.
I don't think there was that much wheel available.
How do you crank it into the corner the next time if it's doing all that the last time you're in the corner?
There's the 45. First time we've had an opportunity to mention Eric Darnell back in the series, running with Nice Motorsports. Last raced in the Truck Series back in 2008. Ran some Xfinity races in 2012.
Spencer Davis there in the 11. That's ODW's throwback to 04 when he ran a truck race. There's Darnell. Good picture of Eric.
I know how excited he was to get that call from Cody Efaw at Nice Motorsports and an opportunity to run this truck. And I would expect, as Cody explained to me earlier today, that Nice is going to probably pare down their 4-truck operation down to 3 as they head toward the stretch run here in the regular season, and maybe occasionally run that 4th truck. But for the most part, that 45 will be run by Ross Chastain, Bailey Curry, and Jet Nolan.
Ross was impressed. There's a good picture of Eric celebrating those wins back in 07 and 8.
Yeah, he's just throwing back to his old truck, right? It looks the same.
Hadn't been around in a while. That's okay.
Northern Tool and Equipment, thrilled to be a part of this throwback weekend, and great to have them back in the series. Stage 2 here at Darlington. John Hunter Nemechek out front as Kyle Busch Motorsports tries for a record-setting 6th consecutive win in the Camping World Truck Series. We're going to take a break, but you won't miss a thing. Going to keep on trucking from Darlington. back at Darlington. Camping World Truck Series. John Hunter Nemechek out front. Todd Gilliland, the Stage 1 winner, runs second. And the Darlington stripe alive and well for some, as you see Nemechek. He's had a couple of near misses tonight, but right now comfortably out in front of Gilliland by a little bit more than 2.5 seconds. Greg Biffle in the booth with us, along Michael Waltrip. I'm Vince Welch. Greg, is John Hunter Nemechek going too fast?
You know, I've been watching this his lap times, and he's put down some fast laps. And I would be concerned if I was that crew chief on the box. Is he using too much of that tire? And he's got a comfortable lead, so it's time to back it down some and take it easy on that truck and on those tires, and he's got a long ways to go.
Eric Phillips, the crew chief for John Hunter Nemechek, and he just was effusive in his praise of John Hunter earlier when I spoke with him this week, and compared him to another driver that he spent some time with, Christopher Bell, which I thought was a grand compliment to give John Hunter.
What about the 51?
The bottom 34, 51's going to get finished there. Bumper.
Corey
He's back in
Heim
line now.
just continues to impress. Up to the 7th spot, picking them off. Really good lap times. You talked about John Hunter's last time by. Heim was just as fast as his teammate.
Takes a look underneath the 2 truck of Sheldon Creed. How about that 2 paint scheme? I love that, the old Jason Leffler scheme.
That's perfect. Sheldon Creed reminds me of Jason Leffler. Just a couple of hard racers, guys that give it all they got. Miss Jason.
Heim gets the spot.
That's incredible what that young man's doing. Creed's had his hands full all night, Vince. You've seen him back and forth on that wheel, in and out of the gas.
Inside the final 20 laps here in Stage 2. So you see Zane Smith running third. Jamie?
Zane Smith was so optimistic coming into this race that they had such a good race going at Kansas that gave him some momentum, but just now on the radio he told his team he's got a vibration, and if it continues to get worse they'll bring it down for a loose wheel. His team's up on the wall waiting just in case as he runs third right now.
Yeah, that was a big wiggle right there from the 21. Had a handful. How about the 2 of Creed, Regan?
Well, you guys just noted that his hands were all over the place, as you see it again right there. Came on the radio about 2 laps ago, said it's like it flipped a switch. It is way too loose right now. So very observant, Michael. That's exactly what he's got going on.
And Greg, what does it feel like when you have a loose wheel? How do you make that decision whether to come to pit road or not?
That's really tough. You never want to pit. You feel like your race is over, especially how short some of these truck races are. So he comes down pit road. If he's not 100% sure if it's a tire vibration or potentially can make it to the end of this stage, that's really going to turn his race, you know, from a good night to a bad night if he has to come down for a loose wheel.
You know, you talked about John Hunter Nemechek taking it easy. There's one guy you can bet isn't going to take it easy, and that's 52, Stuart Friesen. He has made this strategy after that spin work. He just, oh, now he's loose, but he just picked off for the 4th position, drove around and got that spot away. But look also right behind him, Carson Hocevar on a similar strategy. Another great run for that Nice team for Carson.
15 laps to go in Stage 2. Doing a little rubbing here at Darlington.
Excuse me?
Tomorrow on FS1, the best anglers in the world tackle freshwater's hardest fighter. It's the Bassmaster Elite Series, live from Neely Henry Lake. Tomorrow, 8 a.m. Eastern, here on FS1 and also the Fox Sports app. Back at Darlington, Michael Waltrip, Greg Biffle with us. I'm Vince Welch. John Hunter Nemechek, and as you watch how close to the wall he runs, the Pye Barker Fire and Safety onboard cam. Ooh. And around goes Chase Purdy.
Chase was running in the 20th position, and John Hunter was bearing down on those trucks, trying to stay on the lead lap, and unfortunately the Bama Buggies Davey Allison tribute car truck smash fender. It's hard, Vince, when they're tributing someone's car with the truck.
With a truck, but we get the idea, and it's still a nice tribute. A lot of fans, a lot of Davey fans recognize that scheme for Chase Purdy as you watch the replay coming at you.
Oh, just trying to squeeze up and grab that spot, and just not enough room.
They're coming through turn 3 and headed into turn 4.
There was Ogata in the 34 truck that got together with the 23 of Purdy.
Chase Purdy waiting on a little bit of help as you look at the Davey Allison throwback back to 1981.
That's beautiful. Davey was quite the competitor. Started racing those late model stocks and made it to ARCA, and then of course the rest is history, what he accomplished in Cup.
Purdy climbing from his truck. Night is done prematurely as we have 9 to go here in stage 2. They just crossed the line, so John Hunter Nemechek continuing to lead, and the night is complete for Chase Purdy. I've got to say, as we look here at the pylon there on the left-hand side of the screen, how impressed I am with Corey Heim running 4th. We talked a little bit about him earlier. The driver who's won a couple of times in ARCA already this season. Carson Hocevar also up into the top 5. And how about Jordan Anderson? How about this scheme? The old Mark Martin and Larry McReynolds' first race as a Cup crew chief, I believe. Is that right?
Yeah, I remember that car on the tracks, and Larry figuring out his way to become America's crew chief by turning the wrenches on Mark's car.
Now Jordan is going to be Larry's son-in-law, so that's some real kissing up, I think, by having that scheme.
I think it's pretty special, and I think Larry would certainly agree. No one's more fun to chat with and talk to than Jordan Anderson, and Jordan got off to a shaky start in this race, lost a lap early. Has been able to maintain pace and is currently in 28th, a lap down, but not the performance he was hoping for, but certainly a cool looking truck.
It is indeed.
There's old DW.
Yep.
So, good night for DW. I wore his clothes from his closet, and
was that circa 1950 what?
And Spencer Davis is driving around in Darrell's truck.
That's good looking.
Certainly is. Nice job with the Enox sponsorship. It looks just like Darrell's old truck. Darrell and Bobby Kennedy teamed up to do some racing.
Well, I hope that the fans are enjoying seeing these old schemes. I know as much as we are, and the teams enjoy participating and honoring the legends of the sport and some of the famous paint schemes.
And how cool is it the fans are here to enjoy it and appreciate it. Just a solid stream of folks filing into Darlington Raceway. This is a bit surprising. Pit road is still closed. Ben Rhodes pitted. He's obviously going to restart at the very back of the field. Now he will stay out on the next when the stage ends. So I just don't understand getting that penalty. They could have waited.
Get an update here on the 99 from pit road momentarily as you see teams up on the wall. Pit here or wait till the end of the stage? depending on how important stage points are to you?
I think if you're John Hunter Nemechek, you pit here, right? You come in and you forego the winning of the stage. You see Pi Barker, fire safety, on board there, giving us these great shots. But this is Biff, what do you think? You pit here. He's already got wins. He doesn't need necessarily the stage point, but he wants to win this race. Might be his best opportunity to take advantage of some strategy.
You're exactly right, but I'm going to tell you, that's why I was a driver and not a crew chief, because these calls are not my forte. So, but I agree. If you don't need the stage points and you're looking for track position of the wins, pitting here would have been my choice.
You talk about dominance. John Hunter Nemechek came into this race tonight with 109 stage points. Next closest was Sheldon Creed with 68.
Wow.
It's been that kind of dominating season through the first 7 races.
And
for John Hunter.
The wins, Vince.
Yeah.
Those are what's so important. And I would think we're going to see some strategy as soon as pit road's open. Be interested to see how many of them think they can pit here and not worry about those stage points, and how many of them think they need them.
Before they hit pit road, give us an opportunity to remind you to stay tuned. Coming up next, pro football continues with the Spring League on FS1. Catch the Blues and the Sea Lions. Hard-hitting action on FS1 kicking off as soon as our race is complete here tonight at Darlington. FS1 and the Fox Sports app. Spring football. Stuart Friesen on pit road. Corey Heim is there. Carson Hocevar as well. And they're all trailing John Hunter Nemechek, who was the first to hit pit road. Regan?
Well, a long conversation at Stuart Friesen's radio, whether to pit now or not. Ultimately decided to pit. They felt like everybody behind them would. That truck's just a little bit too tight right now, but he likes it tight, wants to leave it that way. Carson Hocevar also very tight with that race truck right now. Worried about the right front tire on it, so they're going to need some adjustment. Jamie?
They told Todd Gilliland, do whatever the Ford truck does. The Ford discussion was, once we take the green, we'll probably have about 5 laps. Let's go ahead and bring it. He wanted also to tighten up that Ford truck. Got a little too free there on that last run.
38 of Gilliland took a chassis adjustment as well.
Hey, Biff, you're 1 for 1. Good call. You wanted to pit, and that's what we did.
The race I ran here, I decided not to pit. There was a discussion, and you saw how that turned out. So,
drivers always want the fresh tires, though, don't they?
That's right. That's right. My spotter said, "Stay out, stay out." And I'm like, "Boy, I really want tires."
There's the brain trust. Those calls being made down on pit road.
Eric Phillips spent the last 2 years with Denny Hamlin's Cup crew as the car chief under Chris Gabehart, and really just so complimentary of all he learned from Gabehart and also Dave Rogers, 2 Cup crew chiefs that he mentioned by name, but he said it's been an incredible learning experience, as you see the issue there for Spencer Davis. But boy, Kyle Busch Motorsports losing a guy like Rudy Fugle and then having an Eric Phillips step in, they have not missed a beat.
Certainly haven't. It worked out well for Rudy Fugle as well.
Yep.
It's been fun watching he and William reunite and having the success they're having in the Cup Series. We got a few trucks that decided to play the strategy game. Ben Rhodes is currently being shown in the top 5, but he pitted before the pits were open. He'll go to the back.
Still cleaning up some debris on the front stretch. Jamie on Ben Rhodes running 4th.
Well, I'm in his pit box right now, and Vince, he had the same exact thing happen for the 2nd time in a row. The right rear only had 5 pounds of pressure, and I just saw where they circled a couple spots where he's gotten a gouge from something. So 2 unique situations, but same result.
Well, when we see contact between trucks on pit or out on the racetrack, or maybe a truck getting into the wall, you're bound to have a little bit of debris come off and land on track, and somebody could run over it, puncture a tire.
Yeah, it's just interesting. It was the same tire twice, and sometimes the teams will wonder if maybe they've got something on the fender that's cutting it. But if it's on the tread, they're probably comfortable that that it isn't that's the issue. What's been in the guy saying on the radio?
The pit road was open before when we came. It wasn't, obviously.
No, I told you it was not open. I thought you were coming.
If it wasn't open, I wasn't, but now we gotta go tail our longest line.
Yeah, that was just a mistake for that team to pit when they did there. It doesn't matter if there's, as long as there's any air in the tires, you don't want to get penalized, and that's what's getting ready to happen.
Yep, so he'll go to the tail end.
Communication, Vince.
Yep. Some of the great shots that the drone is providing us. The Fox drone cam. Well, the technology today that is available to us to provide these great shots to you, and all those, somebody's operating that drone cam, and all the great camera operators and folks behind the scenes that allow us to bring these telecasts to you. They are the best, and we certainly value their contributions. Hey, speaking of contributing, the impact of the pandemic on youth sports has been significant, of course, and while recovery has started in some communities, kids most in need are still on the sidelines. So we encourage you to visit goodsports.org to learn how you can help Fox Sports and Good Sports restore play for at-risk youth and the programs that serve them through donations of brand new sports equipment. So I encourage you to visit goodsports.org to learn more and see how you can help.
Hey, Biff, you want to hear some good analyzation?
Yes.
This is going to be a mess. Look what we've got coming down the green flag. Got 3 trucks that stayed out.
They are sitting ducks.
They are, but they've got just a couple laps to try to do something special here at Darlington.
Timmy Hill on the inside and Tanner Gray on the outside of that front row.
Uh-oh.
Gray spun the tires and was getting some help in that back bumper.
Yeah, if your tires are off the ground, Vince, they're going to spin.
Yep.
Whoa, they're squeezing through. It's going to be tight.
Yeah, Nemechek wasted no time, and Corey Heim came with him.
Look at the blocks these guys are throwing.
Trying to hold position and grab a stage point or two before stage 2 expires.
Oh, they're 3 wide off 4, and they made it.
Full contact racing at Darlington on the final lap of stage 2.
Still inside, bottom clear there. Bottom clear, half back. Half back, still clear low.
Nice move. Got to the bottom of Tanner Gray.
Clear, clear.
Look at Timothy Peters in that 25 truck. Good run for Timothy.
Peters on the bottom, making it 3 wide, getting the spot as Hocevar and Smith, the 2 white trucks there, battling for position. And John Hunter Nemechek grabs his 7th stage win of the season.
Barely holding off Corey Heim. We've talked about Corey. What a great job he's doing, along with Carson Hocevar.
KBM trucks, 3 of the top 4 to finish up that stage. It was not a clean sorting out of the trucks after that restart.
Would you agree, Biff? A bit of a mess?
Man, that was really close right there.
Stuart Friesen was getting squeezed. Sheldon Creed had a great view of it all. Welcome back to Camping World Truck Series racing from Darlington. You could just see that picture there of just that, where the truck has skimmed the wall and left that mark, and you'd know exactly where we were, wouldn't you?
You're in South Carolina, one of the most historic, iconic, famous racetracks in NASCAR. Look, does that not just say Darlington? Well, I mean, literally it does, Biff, but I mean the scratch on the wall.
Yeah, that's the Darlington stripe. So that's, boy, I've been there a couple times. We're trying to figure out, put all this wood in the right side of the cars and all this stuff to try and keep the bodies straight. The crew chiefs and the team guys know we're going to hit the wall.
Well, the safer barrier makes getting that stripe on the side a little easier, a little more comfortable.
It does. When you see that safer barrier coming, you don't cringe nearly like you did back when it was concrete.
That's right.
Truck Series through the years. Get the old time capsule out, and our very first race at Phoenix back in '95. Mike Skinner, the winner.
What a thriller that was, too. They battled all the way to checkered. Ron Hornaday, 4-time champion.
Of course, Kyle just keeps on doing it. 61 truck wins. 18 different champs throughout the years, and Matt Crafton has 3 of those championship trophies. Crafton running just inside the top 10 right now through 2 stages. How about Carson Hocevar running up inside the top 5, Regan?
Well, all of our leaders stayed out right here, Vince, including Carson Hocevar. Had this message to his crew chief as the caution had just came out for the stage end.
We need to stay here. It's only 2 laps. Can't give up that much track position. Oh, hell yeah. Love you, Phil, dog, but if you told me to pit right here, I would have shut my radio off.
Phil Gould working as crew chief with Hocevar this week. What do you think, Greg? He's just making the decisions?
Trust me, I've made plenty of those myself. Pit here, and I'm like, I couldn't hear you.
There's Johnny Benson in the 10. Carson is throwing back to his fellow Michigander, Johnny Benson.
Yeah, we mentioned last week what a great story Hocevar has been this season. Just 18 years old, and his first full-time campaign in the Camping World Truck Series and battling for a playoff spot. And Phil Gould has moved over to crew chief, the 42 of Hocevar. This was the first week working together in that capacity.
Well, let me just tell you, that kid is the real deal. He's proven week in and week out that he can get the job done. And being up front, battling for the lead along with Corey Heim. Every time these kids show up, Greg, at a place like Darlington, you see them do something special. You just put a circle around them and say, let's watch these guys. They got it figured out.
Absolutely, for sure. I mean, the guys that come that can run like this at a racetrack like this are just proving they've got talent, and they're in good equipment, which is absolutely going to help them. And so does all the simulation they've got before they come here and actually get on the track.
Yeah, it makes such a huge difference, especially considering no practice. So that simulation is just invaluable as you prepare the trucks and get them set up to go full speed as soon as they hit the track for the very first time. And the drivers have to have the confidence in them to pilot those trucks.
These darn restarts are crazy.
John Hunter Nemechek on the outside for this restart, and Carson Hocevar on the inside. The final stage at Darlington. Corey Heim in his debut in that 51 truck, taking the top, trying to get past Hocevar, and does for second. Heim, a 2-time winner this season in the ARCA Menard Series. Got a win last year in that series as well. Current ARCA points leader, and he is showing that he knows what he's doing out here in his Truck Series debut. Impressive run.
Certainly is. Austin Hill back in 5th position. Keep an eye on that black and blue truck. Oh, we got some issues off turn 2.
Tanner Gray in the 15 getting through. The 45 is Eric Darnell. The 22, Austin Wayne Self.
Ben Rhodes, after serving that penalty, is back in the middle of this mess. See if we can tell what happened Haley Deegan's leading this group.
Oh, that's what happened.
Yeah, just got in a little hot. Up the hill she goes, and he'll be lucky if that right front doesn't blow out now, Vince.
Darnell is first Truck Series race since 2008. Got a couple of wins in the series back in his day.
See that smoke?
Yep.
I don't think
not a good sign.
Right front's in this game for the long haul. Danny Bone in the 30 there. He'll be wise to make sure he gives Darnell a little space.
That's when you don't pass him on the outside, Michael.
Good call, spotter.
Yeah.
Well, we've been talking about Corey Heim and his impressive debut. Give us more, Jamie.
Yeah, incredible debut for the 51. But hey, Greg Biffle, how about the man on top of the box for Corey Heim? You know him, Marty Lindley. He was part of your team back in the day at Roach. This man's done an incredible job, brand new to Kyle Busch Motorsports this year. Already has 3 wins too with Kyle, one with Truex. But he told me he loves working with the new kids. He said the anxiety level is less, and he just enjoys the raw talent. He was really optimistic talking about Corey as Corey gets passed for second.
Yeah, Marty was a great guy. Contributed a ton to our team, was one of our great mechanics, and I'm glad to see him move up through and be a crew chief. He's a lot of talent.
It's nice to be able to have Kyle Busch as your driver and Martin Truex Jr. as well, but what a difference to have a young kid, and I think Marty's getting to enjoy the fruits of his labor and really experiencing both ends of the spectrum, if you will.
Exactly right, and you can see Chandler Smith there in the 18 starting to apply a little pressure too. Oh, we got trouble. See him spinning behind as we ride along with Sheldon Creed.
And now the caution comes out for Timothy Peters. Well, it's going to be an opportunity to come to pit road. We talked about teams keeping a couple of sets of tires for this third and final stage. This would be an opportunity to put one of them on.
Yeah, and
one of those sets.
Strong run for Timothy and that Bobby Hamilton tribute truck, but you could see left front damage. Johnny Sauter looked like part of that problem as well. I think we've run 16 laps since the last pit stop, Vince. Not all of them have been green, but these truckers, knowing they've got an extra set of tires, some of them anyway, probably see some differing strategies here.
No guarantee that we'd get another caution before the end, so I think that I'd be surprised if you didn't come at this stage. Sauter, you see that right front down and a little bit of damage around the wheel well, and they'll go ahead and take the opportunity to pull out the fenders and put tires on. Sauter, another one of those that is in desperate need of a win. In fact, as far as the full-time active full-time guys in the series, he's got the longest winless streak out there, so he'd like to get back to victory lane. As would a bunch on Sunday. All the throwback action continuing here on FS1, the NASCAR Cup Series from Darlington. It's the Goodyear 400. Kick it off with race day coverage at 2 o'clock Eastern, and then live from right here at the track, green flag action at 3:30, all on FS1 and the Fox Sports app.
How cool is it? It's just the Goodyear 400. That's throwback in itself, just celebrating all that Goodyear's meant to this sport. Here we go.
Got some takers.
We talked about options here. Regan, what's Matt Crafton's team thinking?
Well, Matt Crafton's team decided they wanted the tires right now at this stage, that it would help him out just a little bit as the run went on if we had a long run. That truck, it's too loose. They helped him a little bit with the last adjustment, but too loose, turned it down off of the wall right now for him.
Ryan Reed in the 24, getting his first start with GMS. You see the 40 of Ryan Truex out of the Nice camp on pit road as well.
Reed's been quiet, but he's kept that truck clean. There comes Ben Rhodes after his miscommunication coming to pit road too soon. They've opted to get back off strategy of the leaders. There you see the 24 truck of Reed. When you haven't run in a long time, Vince, and you come to Darlington, you're halfway through the event, you still got a clean right side, you would put a check mark by that.
I would say that's a win in itself, isn't it? Restart when we come back to Darlington.
She's a stunner, that lady in black.
I bet you heard about me.
Romanticized and admired. But her favor? Well, as difficult to gain as her turns are to take.
Oh, you're gonna hit him. And has suffered damage.
One hit from me and you're yelling timber. There can only be one winner.
Welcome back to Camping World Truck Series Racing here on FS1, presented by Blue Emu. Just over 40 laps left to go, and it has been an exciting one here tonight, as it always is at Darlington. And it's been a KBM kind of night, no big surprise, right? 3 of the top 4 out of the KBM stable. That 51 truck of Corey Heim in his debut has been ultra impressive, trying to fend off John Hunter Nemechek as Kyle Busch Motorsports goes for a record 6th consecutive win in the series.
See Carson Hocevar, he lines up on the outside behind John Hunter. A little bit of strategy on this restart once they pass the choose area. See how it works. Oh, had John Hunter sideways.
3 wide, Chandler Smith going for the lead.
What do you think Kyle Busch is thinking right now?
Keep them straight.
Please make it.
Nemechek grabs the top spot. Heim second, and now Chandler Smith going to slip into the 4th spot, but getting challenged by Hocevar.
Talked earlier about the speed of that 16 truck, the black and blue truck on the bottom. He just gets better and better. Going to try to grab that 2nd spot.
That's Austin Hill, and he gets it. Watch contact here with the 4 of John Hunter Nemechek. Carson Hocevar giving him a shove.
Look, he was turned right at that outside wall. That had to get his attention, huh, Biff?
Man, that made me nervous right there, but they got through it. He came back on the top. He really got a run off it too. I was surprised he came back, but like you said, that Timmy Hill truck, he's looking strong right now. Going to put some pressure on the 4.
Austin Hill's been that way all year, Greg. It just seems like the truck gets better and better, and he's a veteran, obviously. Regular season champion last year, just really in a good spot right now. See if he can run down John Hunter as these guys battle for the 3rd spot.
I see John Hunter up there in 3 and 4 run the very, very top, right, committed on brand new tires. And that's got to be what's making his truck fast in these long runs. He's the only guy running way up there.
Look how close he is to the wall there.
You could do that pretty good going straight, Vince. It's this part that gets my attention. He is right against it, isn't he?
Corey Heim running 3rd in the 51. He and Hocevar been battling through so many laps, those two. And now Chandler Smith getting up in the mix. You know, what a great run it has been for Chandler Smith. And there's Tanner Gray going around and have contact with the wall, and the caution is out. Oh, and it collects.
Is that Timmy
Hill in the 56 as well. That was a big hit as Hill came in trying to avoid.
That's
Ogata in the 34 right there in the middle. Timmy Hill's going to be able to drive it away, but the other two, I'm not sure.
Maybe Timmy Hill was able to sneak out of there. Ogata with some heavy contact, and Timmy's able to drive away, like you said, Vince. A lot of damage, though.
There's going to be another opportunity for those teams that did not pit a few laps back.
Now, if you're Ben Rhodes, Ryan Reed, some of the guys that did take advantage of that caution to get their tires, they stay out here, Vince. And what do you think, Greg? I'm going to ask you one more time. You're 1 for 1. Do we come get that set of tires now?
Boy, it would sure hurt if you did, because you've not got that many laps. And like you said, all those guys that stop for tires are going to leapfrog you, and they're going to be in front of you. So I don't know. It's a difficult call right here, but if you stay out, you're a sitting duck. So Nemechek's team has the biggest challenge right here.
And, you know, a lot of those teams will say, do what the 4 does. They'll hedge their bet. But this looks like it could be a bit of a lengthy cleanup. There you see Tanner Gray walking away from his truck. He's racing alongside Austin Wayne Self in the 22, and then just gets loose. Brian Truex squeezed into the hole that wasn't quite there, but he was committed, and that turned the 15 around, and most everybody makes it by, but he just goes low and swept up.
Yeah, at that point, Timmy Hill had no option. So the night is complete for Tanner Gray, as, boy, Ogata with a big hit.
Yeah, he got hit, probably slowing down. He got hit from behind. Let's see if we can see it here.
These two guys got in the inside wall, and that guy had nowhere to go.
Oh, man, that's hard.
Timmy Hill able to drive away from that, but Ogata being put on the hook, and you see he is out of the truck now and will be walked to the ambulance, and he and Tanner Gray will both go to the infield care center and be checked out. So tires, I figure there's at least one. Some have 2 sets remaining. And we've got 35 laps to go, and as you said, Mike, potentially a lengthy cleanup here, depending on how much fluid was put down on the track.
Well, we're going to find out. Green light you see down in the distance means pit road is open. We got a mixed bag, Biff.
Boy, that's going to be difficult for those guys that stayed out, unless they've just been running their tires easy. That's going to be interesting.
Regan?
Well, Sheldon Crean, the 2 truck, they have been fighting a loose race truck all night long. Finally gotten it tightened up. The problem is it was only for 2 laps. Then this thing went back too loose again already. The 42 of Carson Hocevar, there was never a question for them. They were always going to pit right here. Felt like it was time to get some more tires. Fired off a little bit free with that truck. But the more he ran, the better it kept getting for him. He'd rather be a little bit loose, too.
Uh-oh. Bit of his side skirt peeled back there.
Well, you don't want to run into that in a little side-by-side racing.
Or over it.
Cut a tire.
Here comes Chandler Smith out ahead of Creed as they exit pit road.
Decisions. John Hunter Nemechek, Austin Hill, the top 2 runners, they stayed out. Coming back to Darlington.
Very beautifully done, very nice job on the sides of that Toyota Tundra. Really, really cool paint scheme. That truck was run in Phoenix in
1992. Of course, let's remind everybody, don't forget, we have racing tomorrow. We certainly invite each and every one of you to come back and join us tomorrow afternoon for the first.
It's Darlington, and you know what that means. Full contact racing. And it has been that and then some tonight in the Camping World Truck Series. Some have fared better than others. Tanner Gray getting around, and then Akinori Ogata coming into the picture right there. Timmy Hill had a little contact involved as well. Hill was able to drive away. Ogata and Gray are done for the night. Great to have you with us. Welcome back to the liftkidsforless.com 200. From here in Darlington, Greg Biffle joining us. Michael Waltrip, I'm Vince Welch. What do you think, Biff, as you size it up here with about 30 to go?
I'm going to tell you, this just got interesting with these top guys staying out. You know, they only have about 8 laps on their tires, but I'm telling you, Michael, tires mean everything at this racetrack. So it's going to be interesting to see if these cars, these trucks that just put tires on, are going to be fast enough to go up there and challenge for the lead.
Yeah, the top 5 last pitted on lap 85, so they've got about 30 on theirs, but the more recent trucks that came to pit road were about lap 103, had about 8 laps of green on their tires, and then this next round here at lap 113.
How about you couldn't ask for much much more diverse groups of tires and not tires up toward the front. There you can see Austin Hill's throwback to Mike Stefanik. Beautiful modified running up in the Northeast.
Those are cool cars.
So much fun to watch at Loudon when we go up there to race, aren't they?
Oh, they are. They're bumping each other all the way down. Looks like we're at Daytona when those things are out there.
He's in a great spot, Biff. I know he hasn't pitted, but man, that truck's been so strong on the longer run. This could play into his hands if it stays green. We'll have to see. I guess ideally the first 5 trucks would like to see it run 10 laps maybe. I mean, they don't want to go too far before they have to come get those tires. This is interesting.
Yeah, the top 5 all with the top 4, I should say, all with 2 sets of tires. But for the most part, everybody has a set left at least. Regan?
Well, you see the 42 of Carson Hocevar pitted under that last caution. Had to come back down a second time. The side skirt that we saw that had pulled off the side of the truck, NASCAR made him come down and fix that side skirt because of the issues with it hanging out. Tough break for a driver having a great run tonight.
Well, that's for sure.
But there's a lot of stuff that's going to go on, Regan. They're not out of this ball game by any stretch with all the different tire strategies we're watching.
John Hunter Nemechek and Corey Heim on that front row for the restart. Oh, and the 2 KBM trucks, big contact. The 17 of David Gilliland in that as well. Austin Hill goes around.
And they're still piling in.
Zane Smith, another good truck in that 21. Heavy contact, and there is Nemechek. Wow, the 2 KBM trucks restarting on the front row, and I don't know if it was so much of them having contact between the 2 of them, but the help that was coming from behind them that was creating an issue.
Yeah, sometimes you can't afford for someone to help you. And when you're battling side by side and someone's into your tailgate, we'll have to take another look at it. But I didn't see any crazy dives from Heim or John Hunter. They just got together somehow, probably a push from behind.
Yeah, these guys are getting really aggressive on these restarts, and I think it was just a push, Michael, when we see the replay. I'm sure that's what happened.
Frustrating for so many drivers because there were a lot of good trucks involved in that one.
I kind of like the position Hocevar was in, Vince. Had to come back in pit road and wound up restarting 25th, and the wreck was, I mean, it might have included some of the trucks that were in the top 20.
Well, isn't that the way the sport works, though? I mean, you have a bad break, and it ultimately puts you in a position that ends up being a good break. And sometimes it's just the other way around. But some heavy repairs going to be done here on this 4 truck of John Hunter Nemechek. And here are the replays of that restart and how it all began. So that's Nemechek on the front row outside, Corey Heim front row inside.
Yeah, it's hard to say what was happening behind them, right, Greg, with all the pushing?
It's so hard. You got those brand new tires. I think that the top 4 that stayed out just couldn't get the power down, and I think that everybody just started pushing.
And you can see the 16's into the back of the 4, and that turns him maybe, see John Hunter correcting to the left and right, trying to keep control, and they just come together.
I think Friesen was on the back bumper of Corey Heim, and maybe Friesen was getting some help from behind from the 99 of Ben Rhodes.
Look at Johnny Sauter in that 13 truck. He slips by, and then after that, the track is blocked.
Dawson Cram involved in that. Chandler Smith.
Grant Enfinger.
Yep.
That looked like Talladega.
I couldn't agree more.
Let's ride with John Hunter Nemechek.
Listen for tire spin.
On you tight. Keep going here. Driver coming up. Get up to the top. Yellow's out. Yellow's out. Left front's down. Easy. Easy. Yeah, I got damage here. Hold on.
Ride with Sheldon Creed.
Top lane stacking hard here. Stacking hard. No wrecking. No wrecking. No wrecking. Check up. Check up. Check up. Check up. Check up. Staying at bottom. Staying at bottom.
Look at that.
Bottom.
I feel the same way, Sheldon. That was awesome.
You know, that can, avoiding the mishap there, could be the difference in winning this race tonight.
Well, I mean, the most,
near misses.
Yeah, and
Hey, the Spring League game with the Blues taking on the Sea Lions is starting now on FS2. So if you have tuned in for some spring football, switch over to FS2 for the Spring League game, Blues and the Sea Lions, and they'll come back here to FS1 at the conclusion of our race.
Yeah,
But,
this is
it's going to get exciting here before the end. I wouldn't switch from here.
It's full contact racing. We're going to see a lot of hits. Making a plan there. They can look at the truck while the red flag's out, but you can't work on it. So the teams are just figuring out what they need to do to get back on the road.
You like going red here to keep from running off laps?
100%. It's just a tough situation to be able to be this late in the race. Differing strategies that we talked about and just riding around under caution. I love what NASCAR has done here.
Yep, I would agree.
Yeah, they have a lot of cleanup down there in turn 1. Probably wouldn't need to blow that off. They probably have a lot of, debris on the metal on the racetrack.
It looks like there's about as many of them down in turn 1 that are crashed than that are left.
Dawson Cram being taken back to the garage on the hook. There's Zane Smith, the 21 truck. Again, team evaluating the damage, and Haley Deegan involved in that. I think there were about as many involved in it that weren't involved in it. Ryan Reed in the 24.
Tyler, you were like, stay with it, stay in it, stay in it. I mean, I didn't have a choice. My rear tires were off the ground. I was getting pushed, but that was one of the more interesting restarts I've been a part of. Yeah, definitely.
I agree. Interesting would be one word to describe it. Chaotic, crazy, but we've seen this type of pushing and shoving. Let's see, Biff, let's look and see who's left. We saw Johnny Sauter slip through, but you can see Ben Rhodes had some issues on pit road. He's up front. There's Stuart Friesen. Reed, we just heard from. Ryan Truex involved in a mess earlier. He's up and toward the front. So these are all guys we haven't talked a whole lot about being in the front. All of them experienced some sort of issues here and there, but survival of the fittest a lot of times is what you wind up with here at Darlington.
Absolutely. These guys, and a lot of these guys are the ones that took tires. There's Matt Crafton with tire, donuts all over his truck. A little bit of wrinkled up in the front, but he may be still in this thing. But I like Stuart Friesen. Those guys have been fast. And we'll have to see if they can fix John Hunter Nemechek's truck. Looked like just the left front fender, but if they had any suspension damage or splitter, you just never know who's going to be left in this thing that's fast. There's a lot of fast trucks, but we'll see who comes out of it.
Well, the Kyle Busch Motorsports trio have dominated, been right up front all race long. Dominated has John Hunter, and Corey Heim and company were right there with them. There you see what's happened to John Hunter. See how much damage Chandler Smith has in the 18.
Yeah, we've talked a lot about John Hunter and Corey Heim as well, but I think it's been the best run of the season for Chandler Smith also, and they needed that 18 to pick it up, and he has done that tonight at arguably the toughest track on the circuit.
Yeah, he started a little slow at Kansas and got some momentum toward the end of that race as well. So you're right, Vince, riding up front, but then winding up tore up. You can go home, Biff, you know this, you can go home and say, well, at least we were running good even though we got a tore up truck.
Yeah, that happens a lot, but it's some, it does give you a little bit of confidence going to the next race.
Jamie Little.
Certainly a lot of chatter on the radio trying to jump around and hear the different teams. John Hunter Nemechek in the 4 said, what the heck, I was just pushed too hard by the 16 and it pushed us right into our teammate, the 51. Corey Heim in the 51 just keeps asking, is there anything I could have done differently? I feel terrible what happened. They keep telling him it was not your fault. There was nothing you could have done differently. Meanwhile, the 16 of Austin Hill, they told him that John Hunter was trying to be a hero and spun his tires, and that's what led to all this. So there's a lot of chatter going on.
Well, I couldn't agree more with the Corey Heim and that team saying I couldn't have done anything different. The front row did their job. They just got pushed, and that's what they do in the trucks. They push, they shove, and sometimes it pushes you in the wrong direction.
Chaos at the track too tough to tame. The final stage, less than 30 to go at Darlington. Welcome back to Darlington, still under red flag conditions as the cleanup continues. Just about complete as you see the trucks that are still ready to run back there and parked on the front stretch.
See how we got in this position, Vince. Started early. Stuart Friesen dives into turn one, gets sideways, set up his differing strategies, and Todd Gilliland charged to the checkered flag in stage one.
Tanner Gray has been involved a couple of different times tonight, and look at him work the hands to try to avoid that mishap, and did. But it has been a challenge. They say it's the track too tough to tame, and there have been multiple issues tonight trying to get a handle on it for a variety of drivers.
For a variety of reasons, and mostly it's push and shove.
Gray again, and watch this hit. Akinori Ogata hard into the 15 of Gray, and then on this restart, this is what happened. The shove from behind by the drivers in the second row created contact between the 4 of John Hunter Nemechek and the 51 of Corey Heim, and that began the chaos. So who was involved? Well, almost looks like the scoring pylon there on the right-hand side of the screen.
Yeah, if you're taking notes at home, I hope your pen's working well, because that's a lot to write down. Biff said that maybe John Hunter could still have a chance at being competitive. Doesn't look like Haley's got too much damage. And on the other hand, Timothy has a great run, and unfortunately, a lot of damage there on his truck.
Our Blue Emu race summary tonight shows us that we've had 12 different leaders all in all, 9 cautions. And I'm not sure that that's a big surprise to you at Darlington. Gilliland won stage 1, Nemechek won stage 2. John Hunter has led the most laps far and away tonight, 65 laps compared to Gilliland's 18.
There you saw inside of Sheldon Creed's truck. He was relieved. He was able to squeeze through that crash. There's
so
Creed.
while a lot of good trucks suffered significant damage, there's still some good ones sitting here on the front straight under this red that are starting to think all of a sudden, hey, I might have a shot at winning this thing.
Darn right. Guys and drivers we haven't talked much about tonight, one of which is Johnny Sauter. Struggled early. Crafton with some damage there. I think they can tape that right front up on the 88 Regan. He's still got a shot at this thing.
Well, Michael, he was able to maneuver himself and park directly in front of his pit box so Crew Chief Junior Joyner could get a good look at that truck. They know they got to do a little repair with Barabond, and take a listen to what they just said.
See if I got out, you guys can hand me some Barabond, and I'll go over here and stick it on the nose. Your window and go fix it real quick. I wonder if they can just do the pit stop with one less guy. They hang both of them, and you do that just to speed it up a little bit.
Hey, having a little bit of fun. It's throwback weekend. They don't have a throwback paint scheme, but how about a throwback to Sterling Marlin in the Daytona 500 a few years ago?
Yeah, I was sitting there on the back straightaway, Regan, when Sterling got out of his car, and I called him on the radio. I said, I don't think you can do that. And Sterling was so funny when he went back, when the official tapped him on the shoulder, he was as surprised as anybody that somebody was watching, you know?
Well, you see the red has been lifted, and crews can go to work on those trucks on pit road. We'll find out if any of those can be repaired enough to contend.
Wow. Look at that front straightaway. We talked about the wall, says Darlington. That also says Darlington, all those black marks on the front straightaway.
Down to pit road, you know, we've talked a lot about throwback, about Regan Smith. A little throwback memory here at Darlington. Piloting that 78. We saw Mike fit in his driver's suit from years gone by. Regan, would you still fit in that Furniture Row suit?
Vince, I absolutely know for a fact I can still fit in that Furniture Row suit. In fact, I actually had one pulled out in my office the other day and was looking at it. I was like, I might need to squeeze into that for throwback weekend. I might be a little bit partial, but I do happen to think that was the best Southern 500 that has ever taken place in the history of the Southern 500.
No doubt that you think that, and congratulations on that. Always, they can't take that one away from you. Always a winner at Darlington. Well done.
Well, they got them patched up, Vince. A couple of those KBM trucks back on the track. There you see Ben Rhodes in control of this race.
Stuart Friesen, Rhodes and Friesen have both been
solid.
Yep. Again, reminder, if you've tuned in looking for the Spring League football action tonight between the Blues and the Sea Lions, you can find that on FS2. And we've got less than 30 to go here at Darlington. The red flag has been lifted.
Biff, I believe if I'm Ben Rhodes up on that front row, I'm going to maybe leave that. I'm going to be on the beginning end of that restart zone. Get rolling. Don't give anybody a chance to run you over. You think that would work?
That's right. I'm telling my spotter right now, tell those guys, do not push me.
How about it, Jamie? What are they talking about in the 99 camp?
Yeah, what a night it's been for Ben Rhodes. They've had not one, but two different cut tires. I just went down and double checked with the team. They have one set of sticker tires remaining. Their last pit stop was 103, so they've got to take care of it knowing there's only one left. And when do they take it?
Man, many more cautions, you don't ever take it.
Joe Cobb and the damage that the 10 truck has suffered. And there's Chandler Smith. He's come and gotten some repairs. Let's look at that, the replay of the mayhem again. And
these trucks just at the same time went toward the outside wall after some pushes that they just couldn't handle.
Our extra motion cameras and replays.
I like all that. Well, I don't like it for the competitors, but it certainly is great shots by our Fox Sports crew.
What's the responsibility of those drivers in row 2 when those drivers in row 1 on a restart are maybe spinning the tires?
Well, you have options, Vince, and one of which was exercised there, shove them. and the other is maybe just roll out a little bit. But that's not what we see in the Truck Series. These restarts, these drivers know it's their chance to gain spots, grab positions, and get a win. And they just push hard. And, you know, a lot of times there's more action in the truck races because these guys don't have as much experience dealing with these situations.
Haley Deegan, their throwback scheme to the Ford GT.
Wow.
Endurance win at Daytona in the 24 hours back in '66. Wow, look at that.
Those are beautiful. She's got a good enough truck to get up there and get another top 10 maybe after a little bit of patchwork.
Greg, what's been your impression of Haley Deegan in her brief Truck Series career?
She's done a great job. I mean, it's, you know, it's not easy to make the transition into these trucks, and it's, you know, it takes a bit to get used to them. They drive completely different probably than what she's used to. They're a little more top heavy. It's just different, and it takes a bit to get used to it, but she's done a great job.
What I love about her, Vince, is she runs all the laps. You know, she's done a nice job of getting better as the race progresses. Last week was really impressive. The first time she's really driven up there into the top 10 and took positions away from competitors running up front. So that was a really solid performance, and she can build on that.
Been inside the top 20 in regards to finishes the last 3 races, and I would agree, Mike, you can't learn when you're back in the garage after your truck's been taken back there on the hook, and she has done. I think they've been very outspoken about that being their goal this season. Just run the laps, learn, and second half of the season you're going to be a lot better than you were the first half if you can just run the laps.
And we see that week in and week out with her.
I think that's the biggest mistake young guys make, or people coming in, you know, drivers to the series, is you spend all that time in the garage, Michael, and that you just don't learn, you don't get the skills.
Well, that's what's so impressive tonight about Corey Heim. We've never seen him in a truck. We know he was successful in ARCA, but what could he do on this stage? And man, he did everything he could correctly, and I love him questioning what he could have done differently on that restart to keep from having that issue.
I love this one. Maybe my favorite one of the field, the throwback to the Jason Leffler scheme of 2002. What a gasser Leffler was. And you see him driving in the open wheel cars in the midgets, and he was one of my favorites.
Yeah, I know you followed him closely, yep. Vince, and really cool that Sheldon Creed, who is a gasser also, yep. has that same paint scheme.
Yeah, very fitting that Sheldon would be running that scheme here tonight.
Let's look at this top 10. Wow.
It's changed a bit.
It has. Parker Kligerman, 10th. He always winds up around the top.
How does he do it?
He does it every week.
Away, doesn't he? There's a good look at Kligerman in that 75, and Chris Carrier's done a great job, as always, with that team. Going to hit a break one more time. You won't miss a thing. Going to stay side by side. 25 to go at Darlington. Back at Darlington, and you see there on the left-hand side of the screen, less than 25 to go after a fairly lengthy red flag that took out some significant drivers, or at least derailed the chances of winning for some that were definite contenders, including John Hunter Nemechek, not ruling him out because he's still running during this course of this race, but had significant damage to that 4 truck, also to the 51 of Corey Heim, and they had restarted on the front row during that restart that ended up bringing out the caution and eventually the red after that chaotic restart. By the way, drivers Spencer Davis, also Tate Fogelman, driver of the 17 David Gilliland, the 41 Dawson Cram, all released from the care center.
Ben Rhodes, it's been an up and down night for him, hasn't it? But he's got to like his view right now. Plus he knows the most dominant trucks were involved in that restart crash.
Had to pin out a sequence once when they thought pit lane was open, and he actually came to pit road and it was not open, so ended up having to get shuffled to the back.
2 flat tires.
Yep.
Overcome all that, leading this race.
I was gonna say earlier he has bad luck with 2 flat tires, but he's got good luck now.
It's kind of like Hocevar when he had to peel that side skirt off. It got him back and out of this major crash. We talked about Matt Crafton needing to patch up some body work heading to pit road.
It's going to be a big piece of tape. That is a significant hole, Regan.
Well, it absolutely is, and Matt Crafton joking about hopping out to fix that himself. He's going to stay in the truck right now. As you see, the crew's going to take care of repairing that for him. Right now, 4 tires, they're going to need those as well. They've gotten the truck finally to where it was pretty good, and we see the damage. Hopefully they can get it patched up well.
I like when they take their time trying to get that tape on, because the flatter it is, the more effective it'll be. So nice job by the crew guy there getting that patch on.
And how much will that impact the handling of that truck and affect his chances of winning, Greg?
Well, I'll tell you, if he has a hole in the front of that truck, it affects it tremendously. But if they get that hole closed up, just the contour of the body will not be that difficult. You know, another thing I see is all this oil dry going into turn 1 right in the groove.
These truckers are seeing it too, and that'll make you nervous, especially with all the pushing and shoving we've seen.
Absolutely. That's side by side going down in there with all the oil dry. I know the guys NASCAR's trying to get the track guys getting it cleaned up and blowing it off, but it's still going to be slick getting into turn 1.
Yeah, turn 1 is treacherous enough here without all the oil dry. And there you see the crews down there trying to get it all cleaned up. And laps ticking away now. So we get ready for this restart. Radio from the 99 of Ben Rhodes.
Find out what lane Johnny's better, see if it gives us a push on the start here. I don't even think we should count on that.
And those are teammates, by the way, Ben Rhodes and Johnny Sauter. Stuart Friesen right there in the middle of them, Mike, in that 52 truck.
See if we can get a word with him. Hey, Stuart, it's Michael Waltrip in the Fox game. You copy?
We go to the bottom, we're probably going to get loose.
Darn it.
Arrows.
Now they're trying to talk about what lane to pick. We better lay out right now and let them make that decision. There's a lot going on. He knows he's surrounded by teammates, Vince, so where he goes will dictate what happens behind him. They got it all cleaned up, you think, on the conversation with the crew?
Well, and it's so important as to which position, and when you get to that choose zone, which position you take, because that can set you up for this stretch run to the finish. It's going to be about 20 laps, give or take.
Johnny Sauter's got to be happy with how his night's turned around. We saw him in a bind early, able to fight through it. Another great run for the 22 of Austin Wayne Self. He's up in the 6th position. You know, it's such a great opportunity evening for a lot of these guys, having all the issues that we've seen.
Coming to the choose zone, top or bottom?
No, it's still a lap to go here before we get to.
But they will make that determination
next time by, I'm sure.
Finishing with the cleanup.
Now let's see if we can get a word in now that they've had their conversations. Hey Stuart, it's Mike on the Fox team. You copy?
Yeah, got you, Mikey.
What an adventure you've had tonight. Now you find yourself tasting victory at Darlington. How confident are you about this restart?
Well, yeah, it's been an adventure, all right. Not very confident. We've been in the middle of the shit show every restart that we've had. And the last one was the biggest one yet, so we'll see what happens. Just try to get clean one. I know we got a great race truck here. The KW Speed Tundra is awesome, so it's really, really cool to rock this Tim Richmond paint scheme around here. Try my best, but we're just going to try to get out here clean and race them.
Well, it's an awesome paint scheme. I love memories of Tim Richmond. Appreciate y'all tipping your hat to him. Have a good race, bud.
Yeah, 10-4, thank you. I'm sure you got better stories than most.
That would be the extra cable version of the race telecast. Downstairs to Regan.
Well, we see two teammates surrounding Stuart Friesen in that 52 truck as they get ready to choose. I can tell you the crew chief from the 99 truck, Rich Luscious, just climbed off of the pit box of Johnny Sauter's truck talking to Joe Shear Jr. Don't know what they were devising, but maybe a little bit of teammate planning here. Jamie?
Well, interesting turn of events for the 18 of Chandler Smith. He was still shown in the 21st position. Well, they were trying to repair the truck, guys. He got on the gas too fast by the safety vehicles, is what we've been told. NASCAR has parked him. Chandler Smith, Danny Stockman, his crew chief, have been called to the NASCAR hauler.
Vince, they're saying if you've got a little bit of damage, get over to the left, and about the whole field went over to the left as they went down toward turn one.
And you see the final cleanup up there on the wall along the front stretch, so they'll come to the choose zone this time by. And we'll get these trucks lined up two abreast and get this thing restarted and hopefully stay green to the finish and determine who's going to win this thing. I thought that Stuart Friesen, I love the insight that he provided there. He's not sure what's going to happen on this restart. He didn't, he confessed to have no confidence in how it was going to unfold.
What about Ricky Bobby coming back from Talladega Nights? Tyler Ankrum needed a good night. He's up in the top 10, Vince, and pretty cool looking ride there. If you ain't first, you're last. That doesn't make any sense. You could be second.
First loser.
You could be third. Heck, you could even be fourth or fifth. Here we go.
Getting the one to go. So here is the choose zone where they'll pick the top row or the left, top lane or the bottom.
Whoa, Friesen lines up on the outside behind Rhodes, sending Rhodes' teammate down to the bottom. That's aggressive. I like it though.
We'll hope this restart will be cleaner than the previous one.
You know what I love, Vince? There's 18 laps to go. This is Darlington. Getting a trophy from Darlington there's a few tracks winning is a little extra special. And this is one of those. And that's why you're going to see such aggressive driving. Look inside of row number 2. Sheldon Creed slipped through that big crash. And now he sees his opportunity to get a checkered here at Darlington.
Again, if you're tuning in here to FS1 looking for the Spring League football game between the Blues and the Sea Lions, you can find that over on FS2. We'll switch it back here as soon as we are finished at Darlington. The last time we tried to restart, it was teammates from Kyle Busch Motorsports on the front row, and they ended up wrecked. This time it's teammates from ThorSport, Ben Rhodes and Johnny Sauter on the front row. So important about what happens with those drivers in the second row. Do they give a little bit of breathing room between their front bumper and the rear bumper of Rhodes and Sauter? to the lead. Sauter second, Sheldon Creed third. Hocevar challenging, and the 75 of Kligerman and the 52 of Friesen. And the caution is out again.
Stuart Friesen, decision to start on that second row obviously didn't turn out as he hoped. That's Ben Rhodes and Johnny Sauter on the front row both got great starts. And then it looked like something happened to Kligerman.
Well, Friesen told you, Mike, that he wasn't too confident about how this was going to unfold. I'm sure he certainly didn't see that result, but Parker Kligerman, you see the frustration from Kligerman. Now, this is the kind of night you never really want. Ties the record for the most cautions here tonight, and that's 10. 10 cautions for 54 laps currently. Friesen able to drive it to pit road, but his chances of winning are done. Watch it here. Third row back.
Oh, he lost a right front tire. Right, Biff?
Yeah, it looked like it. The car made it, or the truck made a massive turn to the right immediately. So I'm guessing that's what happened.
Probably a little bit of damage from the accident, possibly, and the tire just cut right away.
Yeah, no chance for Kligerman. Yeah, you saw the smoke.
Look at Jordan Anderson slipping through in that 3 truck. Paying tribute to Mark Martin and Larry McReynolds in the 3 truck, and there you see Jordan up to 6th spot.
Well, a lot of drivers were able to avoid contact there. Well done.
Yeah, Reed in the 24.
Yep.
Those guys did
just squeak by.
Those guys did a great job getting through there.
I'll tell you what, when you execute a restart like Ben Rhodes did, and the caution comes out right after it, and you think, oh good, I get to do that again. That's a challenge that is really tough to meet.
18 drivers were involved in that previous accident. Fortunate that only a couple were involved in this one, because it certainly could have collected many others. And the night is done for Parker Kligerman. Stuart Friesen's chances of winning done as well. But at least Ben Rhodes and Johnny Sauter still up in the front. Sauter, by the way, 46 races without a win. That's the longest drought of the full-time guys in the series.
That's not much of a drought, Vince.
What would be considered a drought?
I'd say 10 times that, possibly. Maybe 460 some starts.
Now that isn't. I mean, that's the desert.
I don't see how you could ever overcome that.
Never. All right, we're going to line them up and do it again. This is why we're under caution. Yikes. Coming back to Darlington.
Can't wait for that one. Love coming to Darlington, South Carolina. cleanup continues. What's the best looking throwback paint scheme you've seen here tonight?
Well, it's not anymore, but it was at the start of the program. I really like Jeff Spurley's better than the second Chevrolet. For the throwback paint scheme to be as the traditional familiar Allison County red and gold combination, and even work with the copper spot for the number. Absolutely beautiful. What Danny Joe back in his early days in the late model competition.
10 cautions tonight. These have all occurred in stage 3. In this final stage, Tanner Gray, and Kanori Ogata. Ogata, by the way, has been checked and released. And then this one on the restart, heavy damage for the 2 KBM guys, Nemechek and Heim, and many others. 18 trucks were involved in that one. And then Parker Kligerman, blown tire, takes out Stuart Friesen. Fortunately, others were not involved. A lot of great efforts from the drivers to avoid that, but boy, that was a big hit from Kligerman. Could have been worse, Greg, if, thank goodness, as you mentioned during the commercial break, thank goodness Friesen was there.
Yeah, I mean, if Friesen would have been on the outside of him, the way that wall shaped and where he blew the tire run on the bottom, that could have been a big hit.
Stuart Friesen would beg to differ about him being up there.
Yeah, that was a tough break for both of those guys. I mean, they both had good runs going, and that's unfortunate to be involved in that.
We've got the 52 at least taped up enough to roll. Going to end up having us a shootout here at the finish down the stretch. This final stage has been interrupted, and some lengthy yellows. Run off quite a few laps. The 75 of Parker Kligerman checked and released. Ogata checked and released from the care center. Chandler Smith as well. So no injuries of note at this point from that 18 truck pileup or the incident involving Kligerman and Friesen. Of course, Friesen still out rolling. There's the 99 of Ben Rhodes, who won the first 2 races this season. Since then, it's been a KBM fest.
See what Ben Rhodes is thinking on this restart, Vince. Ben Rhodes, Michael Waltrip, and the Fox team. You ready for this restart, buddy?
Michael, we're on the other channel.
I'll be darned.
You're on.
Make sure they're not coming to the choose.
Nope.
No choose?
Not this time.
Hey, Ben. Michael Waltrip and the Fox team. You ready for this restart, bud?
I hope so. I hope it's the final one, too. We're able to get a good lead. I think our Bombardier Toyota Tundra is pretty quick now that I'm in the front. Just the track position's huge, and after having those 2 tires go down, it really threw us for a loop. So proud of everybody for staying strong and keeping with it. We just got to close it out now.
Well, that last restart was impressive. You and Johnny both got a great start. I know that's going to be the key here. How do you manage getting the gas down and not spinning those tires?
I don't know. It's kind of like a restart game here. You got to get some help from the people behind you, but not leave them and let the guy on the inside get the run. So it's a little bit of a game, a little bit of luck, but you can never really count on the other people. So I'm just going to try to do the best I can, and we'll see how it plays out.
All right, bring one home for us Kentuckians. What do you say? Good luck, bud.
Yeah, thanks. That sounds good to me.
He's pretty calm, isn't he? That kid's just relaxed and knows what he's got to do, understands the challenge, knows what he's faced with, and you're going to be looking in that rearview mirror. You have 2 guys that are really hungry and really aggressive in that second row, and Sheldon Creed's put himself in a position, and Carson Hosefar, one of the fastest trucks all race long, Vince. And remember, he went to the back with that side skirt that they had to take off, and now he finds himself right up there in row number 2.
There's a good look at Hosefar in that 42 truck. A teenager from Michigan.
Throwing back to his fellow Michigander, Johnny Benson, with that paint scheme. And there you see the 22, Austin Wayne Self. It's been a great year for this kid, and they just continue to perform. Happy for that team.
Eddie Traconis has been a part of that that group for a while, and now Ryan Salomon, the crew chief, as they come to the choose zone.
Whoa, Sauter went top. He went top. We just saw it not work out for Friesen when he went to the outside. That's interesting. The two teammates ran down into turn one and got off the first turn, first and second, when they started on the inside. Interesting. We'll see if this plays out.
Well, and how it does play out could have some impact on our playoff standings. You see that Carson Hocevar began this night in the 11th spot, and Chandler Smith was in the 10th position, so that has already changed because of what has happened this evening. Can one of these other drivers put their name in yellow as a winner this year? Rhodes, as we mentioned earlier, won the first 2 races of the season. John Hunter's got a couple of wins.
This has just been an interesting season with the way Rhodes started 2 in a row at Daytona, the big track and the road course. And then KBM went on their streak, and now here Ben is again up front with a chance to win.
Well, and it was a late caution last year. A lap has been added, we're just hearing now. So they're going to come around and go one more time before taking the green. But it was a late caution last year here at Darlington that opened the door for Ben Rhodes and an opportunity to win. And he finds himself in position to go back-to-back with a victory here this season. Just one finish outside the top 10. I mean, it's you see the 52, we understand, is now being called to pit lane, done for the night.
He used up all of his time to repair his truck, and NASCAR parks you when you do that. You only have a certain amount of time you can spend on pit road fixing your truck, and that truck was mangled. Remember Timmy Hill involved in that crash on the back straightaway? He's survived, rolling along in the top 15. There you see Haley Deegan. All the anxious energy that's on that front row. We know how Sheldon Creed, I mean, he's going to drive it like Jason Leffler drove. He's going to be on the gas hard. And Ben Rhodes, no one's any more aggressive than Ben Rhodes, so this front row is stacked.
Austin Wayne Self and Tony Raines doing some spotting here tonight, and it's pretty cool to look out there and see that truck if you're Tony. And you made the comment earlier, Mike, Austin Wayne Self, they've had a solid season, continuing to take steps in the right direction. And he'll restart in that third row alongside Matt Crafton. It'll be Sheldon Creed restarting on the inside with Ben Rhodes on the outside. And when they take the green flag, there will be 8 laps remaining. Pace car is off.
And those engines come to life.
8 to go at Darlington. Creed and Rhodes fighting for the top spot. Hocevar and Johnny Sauter behind them.
Give the advantage to Rhodes off turn 2, but barely, as Creed hangs in on the bottom.
Creed trying to make it stick. Rhodes using the momentum on the top side.
Creed did it.
Wow. Sheldon Creed has the lead.
1.5, 7 to go.
7 to go.
Remember earlier events when he was really working that throttle? Now he had it wide open.
Danny Bone has gone around, and the 30 truck coming to a rest to the inside wall. Caution back out. And it's going to set up another restart. Well, if I'm Sheldon Creed, you didn't want to see that, because he is now going to have to fight off Ben Rhodes again. Rhodes and others. Hocevar, Sauter.
And there's Creed.
Yep.
Knowing that he just put the perfect restart together, now he gets to do it again. Danny Bone racing inside of Reed in the 24, just got loose. Couldn't quite hang on to it. Bone was going for a top 10 position.
Watch it from John Hunter Nemechek's view.
Free, give him room. Just stay up top on the wall. Still green, keep digging. All clear.
When you're Sheldon Creed and they say there's one spinning behind you, it's still green, you're the biggest cheerleader ever for Danny Bone. Get that thing under control. I don't want to see the caution flag. Just a handful of laps to go.
Biff, what'd you think of that restart from Creed on the bottom?
That was impressive. He just, he stayed in the gas. I thought that it got really tight off of turn 2, and I was surprised he drove it into turn 3 and made it stick like that and ended up getting the lead. So very, very impressive.
What do you do now? You got forced to the bottom and you got the lead. Do you take the bottom or do you go up top?
I'm taking the top no matter what. Yep, I'm taking the top if I'm leading. And he got the lead off the bottom, but I don't think odds are the top comes out with the lead most of the times at these races, these restarts, and he did a good job on the bottom, but I just don't know if I would choose that. We'll be interested to see what he decides.
2 weeks from tomorrow, going to Austin, Texas, Circuit of the Americas, another triple truck challenge event. The second of 3 in a row in the triple truck challenge presented by Waffley.
We're going to Austin. How cool is that?
Looking forward to that. 2 weeks from tomorrow, the 22nd of May. Yes, this is a triple truck challenge race. So that means 50 grand, $50,000 bonus to the winner tonight. And if tonight's winner would happen to win again at COTA, it'd be $150,000 bonus. And then if he wins all 3, winning at Charlotte, the third race of the triple truck challenge, that's a whole lot of money, 500 grand.
Now you're just confusing me, Vince. That's huge money for our truckers. I'm looking at the tire situation. Crafton's rallied to 5th after fixing his nose. He's got the freshest tires, but everybody that's pitted since lap 103 with Rhodes did. There's been so many caution flags. I'm not really sure how big of an advantage it'll be. It could help Crafton when they go to the gas. Greg, when he hits the throttle and he doesn't get any tire spin, he could get a good run down the inside. So do you think it's enough of a difference to make a difference?
I think so. I mean, if he gets a run down on the bottom getting into turn 1, that they still have some oil dry down there low, but you see those guys will get down on that flat, and then if you get clear of that guy, you could slide up in the racetrack. And we saw Sheldon make the bottom work. It's certainly not out of the cards. And if those guys in front of him spin the tires at all and he shoots down there towards that bottom, remember, there's no out of bounds. So there's a lot of racetrack there. If a guy spins in front of you, you can get by.
And what about Crafton? We heard him joking about getting out of his number 88 Menards Toyota to fix the nose. Well, the team did an awesome job. Look, all that tape has stayed in place nicely. Put some tires on it. Now he's back in 5th position with a bit of an advantage on tires. Can he take advantage of that?
I think he's in a pretty good spot. I like it.
Austin Wayne Self there in the 22. He hung in there nicely on that restart. Grant Enfinger just behind him. Been a heck of a day for Enfinger. He's been back and forth. He too put on tires when Crafton did, so his are a bit better. Just not sure there's enough time, except for on the launch. If they can get a better launch because of those tires, that could be a big advantage. Here we go.
All right, took the top.
You called it, Biff.
I don't want to say I told you so, but I was thinking he was going to take the top. We'll see. But Ben Rhodes saw what he did, so.
Right. And I'm telling you that I'm thinking, and I don't know, Vince, you watch as many truck races as I do. I think maybe the 2 most aggressive drivers in the truck series are represented on the front row here. Wow.
And that makes me nervous after what I've seen tonight. I'm a little bit nervous about these next 3 laps.
And Ben's got a couple of wins under his belt, but Sheldon, the defending champion, hasn't. So determination for sure, but Ben Rhodes, he's going to hit the gas.
Well, they'll come to green this time, and it is going to be a dash to the finish. When they take the green, there will be 2 to go. Ben Rhodes in that 99 truck. Sheldon Creed in the 2. Rhodes won this race a year ago. Creed won the season finale last year, and with that win at Phoenix, won the season championship, but he has not won since. Rhodes has a couple of wins already this season. Won the season opener at Daytona, and then on the road course backed it up. Off turn 4 and hitting the restart zone. The green is out. 2 laps left at Darlington.
Rhodes nosed out on him.
Rhodes and Creed, and Rhodes gets loose. Creed to the front. Rhodes saved it. Sauter looking for second, but he's challenged by Hocevar. Rhodes up top. Now Hocevar and Rhodes side by side for second. Rhodes is going to get second. Our Camping World 1 to go for Sheldon Creed. Creed supporting. Oh, and the caution is out, but he has taken the white, so that will do it. And Sheldon Creed will be the winner, as Haley Deegan has had contact, brought out the caution, and Sheldon Creed gets his first win of the season.
Thank you.
Creed wins at Darlington.
What a great restart. Perfect execution. And you knew Ben Rhodes was going to give it all he had. Went into turn 1 and 2, side by side, just got loose. Truck got away from him a bit. Luckily kept it out of the side of Sheldon Creed.
We'll show you the 1 truck of Haley Deegan and what brought out the caution. There you see contact with the 45 of Darnell.
Does she have a tire going down, maybe?
She looked awful slow.
Yeah. Yeah, it looked like maybe the right front was going down, and so that was the result.
So that creates the caution that ended the race, because Creed had already taken the white. And Sheldon Creed getting his 6th career win,
and Vince,
his first of the season.
You said that was your favorite paint scheme, you thought, and get to celebrate with it in Victory Lane.
The Jason Leffler paint scheme, and Sheldon Creed celebrates just the way you should. You don't get many opportunities to do the burnouts at Darlington. Enjoy them while you can, right? A tough place to win. It's been tough for Creed all season long. They have had their moments of struggle, but tonight,
you know,
they survived and then took care of business when they had to.
You're exactly right. That's what they did, Vince. But, you know, we saw a hint of speed at Kansas for this GMS tribe. They ran really well out there, and now coming here and putting it at Victory Lane, it's a pretty awesome night. He forgot to put it in park. The fans hung around to see who was going to be able to do the burnouts and go to Victory Lane, and Sheldon provided them the fun.
Well, we hear so much, regardless of which series we're talking about, any of the top 3 series, about the importance of the restart. And man, what a factor that played tonight, creating chaos and eliminating the chances for some and providing opportunity for others, including Sheldon Creed.
Yeah, it was just a real aggressive series. I mean, it doesn't matter whether we're at Darlington or Kansas or when we go to Coda, these guys are going to push and shove. Most of the time it works out, but sometimes you get chaos, and we saw a little bit of that tonight.
Well, for Sheldon Creed, again, his 6th career win, and a big night for he and crew chief Jeff Stankiewicz and all of those at GMS, the first win of the season for that organization. And the defending series champs get back in the win column. Jamie Little is down there to visit with the winner.
And Sheldon climbs out of the truck. He's got the drone shot, getting it all. Last time we saw Sheldon Creed, he took the win at Phoenix, went on to win the championship, Sheldon, but now you're kicking it off this season. Finally getting the win, the first one of the season. How good does that feel?
Feels great. Didn't have the best truck, that's for sure. Firing off, I was really tight, and then I was like wrecking loose there, and just doing everything I could. Really aggressive on restarts. I'm sure I didn't make many friends tonight, but that's what it takes. Just want to thank all you fans. It's so cool seeing so many people back. Love to see it. I don't know, just been staying focused. We've been struggling, but just keep chipping away at it, and we're getting better trucks the last couple of weeks. So all I ask for is something I can race with. So just got to thank Chevrolet, GMS, Trent Shoring. Such a cool Jason Leffler throwback we got to run this weekend. So want to thank Marcus Lemonis for everything he's done for us. We got to run Camping World and Overtons and won an extra 50K tonight. So, woo!
How about winning that first of 3 Triple Truck Challenge events presented by Wombly? $50,000 tonight, but if you win the next 2, Coda and Texas, man, it's an extra $500,000 for you and this team.
Yeah, I have Coda circled. I knew I'll have some speed at the road course, so I'm really looking forward to that. Get to practice and hopefully get to go check out the track next week to try to prepare. So just want to thank everyone, my whole family, Josh Wise, thank you, all my teammates. Just we're going to keep plugging away.
Sheldon Creed wins it. We're all thinking about Jason Leffler. Nice throwback here, Vince.
Absolutely. Thank you, Jamie, and congratulations to Sheldon. He won 2 of the 3 Triple Truck Challenge races last year. Off to a good start with that win here tonight at Darlington and pocketing that extra $50,000. Well, Greg Biffle, thanks for being with us. We certainly appreciate your contribution. Saw a good one tonight.
Absolutely. It was a great race. I enjoyed it, and right here at the end to watch Sheldon win it, it was exciting.
I loved every minute of it, Vince. Yep. Throwback never disappoints. Can't wait for the weekend of racing.
Yeah, the Xfinity race tomorrow, the Cup race on Sunday. Thanks for being with us tonight. Regan Smith, Jamie Little down on pit road, Greg Biffle, Michael Waltrip. I'm Vince Welch. Thanks for being with us from Darlington, where Sheldon Creed scored his first win of the season. The only one that was able to tame it tonight here at Darlington.